the state of Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump my leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. No, not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son.
And welcome everybody to Fren Report Live. This is Fren Report Live number 16. I'm your host, the Walrus, aka Jacob. And with me tonight, I have Mr. CongoRed Jr.,
Hello.
Mr. Jamie Birch.
Hello.
I have Johnny Ketamine, aka K-Hole, and his new name, Mr. Juke Nukem.
Howdy.
And we have Air Raid, last but not least, we have Air Raid Siren.
Dude.
All right, so we get to start out the show tonight on a little bit of a white pill. Kyle Rittenhouse got out today.
Yes. Good to see.
Had to post a $2 million bond, which is incredibly excessive considering he probably shouldn't be in fucking jail anyway.
Definitely should be in jail.
Is
Yeah,
Kyle, is he still represented by Lynn Wood?
Yes.
So I would imagine Lynn posted.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said. His lawyer,
Okay.
so Lynn Wood. You know, they had the his defense fund, and they raised enough that the lawyer went and got him out.
Nice. Now, is Lynn Wood
Nice.
actually involved in the Trump legal team too? I know that there's some offensive communication.
I would have to look into that. I'm not exactly sure.
It's interesting how maybe some dots start connecting. Yeah.
Yeah. Would be interesting. I mean, I guess you should wait till the courts play out or whatever, but Trump should definitely pardon him if they can get a chance
Yeah.
to.
Yes, that
Yeah.
should have been done. But I guess they've got their hands full too, right? So
Yeah.
what did you see in the Fren Report group? General Hot Stuff was messaging.
That must have been just now, huh?
Yeah, a couple. of
Yeah,
minutes
he
ago.
wants to
There it
join in.
is.
My previous account, that just got showed. That's unfortunate because I had some great info I was putting. Brother Wally's, he's got a little group chat about the rigged election, and I belonged to another group chat about it with some other friends, and they would put like they were anal about. I don't know if they got every single person involved on alert or something, but as soon as something would come out, they'd post it, and then I'd send it over to Wally. And there was some great info, and there were other white bills too, like in charge of the circuit courts now. You've got, like, in Wisconsin, I think it was Kavanaugh, and Michigan, I think, was Comey Barrett. Pennsylvania was Alito, and Georgia was Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these changes that are happening. It's like the pieces are coming together, kind of.
Yeah,
See.
there is a lot happening, that's for sure. Yeah, they actually did the first White House press briefing with McEnany there, and but I didn't really say much because yesterday was the big thing with that, you know.
Yeah.
So, do we know who has this server yet from that was in Frankfurt?
We have not
Was-
determined
Right.
that yet, as far as I know.
What's her name? I think had talked about it, confirmed that it had been seized. And I heard that they said they didn't know if the good guys or the bad guys had it. I don't know if those were the exact words used, but
Yeah,
I think
that was the exact word she used,
Yeah.
I believe.
that's pretty interesting stuff. That they'd make a statement like that, and I mean the fact that that isn't worldwide headlines right there.
Right?
Can you imagine
Yeah.
the lawyer for a sitting president saying there's been sensitive election-related materials seized by an unknown agency? We don't know who has
Yeah.
it. Like, that's friggin'
Yeah.
like...
I did reach out to a couple friends who still serve, and asked them, and he said that they. So, I can kind of eliminate one special forces group at least that wasn't involved, but there apparently, they had heard the same rumor that it did happen.
Yeah.
Look,
So it's not much to add, but
Yeah.
we may never know.
A drum machine? Somebody listening to some
That's
God?
like somebody got something going on in the background there.
Could
I don't
be
hear
me.
anything now.
Sounded kind of cool, actually, but but I didn't know. I had no idea where it's coming from.
I'm not hearing anything.
I'm gonna blame Johnny just because.
Guys, we're
God damn
professionals.
it.
Get it together, John.
Get it together, John.
If any of you guys want to do some spoken word, I'll grab the upright bass over here and we'll get some backing for you.
There we go.
When all else fails, blame Johnny, right?
Well, usually it's
Well, he is
accurate
part
to blame.
Jewish, right? So
Oh,
Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, we could blame the
Yeah,
Canadian too. That's all. Blame Canada is always
yeah.
always a viable
Well,
option.
We're always fucking something up, so it's a pretty safe bet.
Fortunately, you
heard
can't
you guys
fuck
were
up too
getting your,
much because you ain't got much to fuck up. So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But well, we've got a lot of tundra, boreal forest. I mean, like it's something.
Hey, you guys got some goof camps sprouting up too. So
Yeah,
you got
some
your
goof
shit
camps.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tamagami a lot. You got that area.
Gentlemen,
Hey, hot
Although I will
stuff.
admit, oh, what up?
what's going on?
How you doing, General?
All good, man. Just got home. I was like, let me jump on. So how's it going? Everything good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking
So what are you guys?
about.
What are you guys covering?
Right
Just kind of
now,
warming up now, but
yeah, we were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse getting out on bail, and
It's crazy. It was
You
$1
get that.
million first, and then they're like
2
2 million.
million. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's
bumped
like
they were trying to get like between 4 and 10 million, and the judge
Whoa.
was like, yeah, the judge was like,
bro, come
yeah.
on, dude.
It's just a $1 million bail, Goy. What's the problem with paying $2 million?
Never forget the $6 million. Never forget the
God,
$6 million.
how funny would that have been if they said it at $6 million?
That would be crazy.
Right. I bet he'd still be getting out today too.
Yeah.
Oh,
They'll say 6 million in a few years. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just glad to see him out of fucking the prison system for now.
oh, can you imagine?
Yeah,
That was a rough prison he was in too. Being from Illinois, that was not a good place.
Yeah.
being a
Well,
17-year-old
had they
fucking kid.
brought him up to I guess they had to bring him up to Wisconsin to set bond, right?
Yeah.
He was extradited.
Yeah. But at first he was in the
You guys
Illinois
see that?
prison. So, but yeah, then they had to bring
Was
him
he in
up
like
to-
general population? Was he like in?
They couldn't have put the poor fucking kid. He wouldn't be alive now.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I didn't see anything about it. About
Yeah,
like
I
where
didn't
he was.
either.
They don't usually give you details like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy all the stuff that's happened that we memory hold, you know?
yeah.
Oh,
Like Cannon, and then that bar guy that killed himself, and so many things have gone on that they're just like, okay, you know?
what about the Waffen, the Boomer Waffens? Oh, they're still facing charges too.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy that they had a protest in front of his house, and he just showed a shotgun through his window, and he got arrested?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that.
I forgot about that
got-
one because there's
yeah,
so
me
many of
too.
that shits. But
I
yeah,
mean, think
They
about
got that
this.
guy right
they
in his
charged him
memory.
with brandishing a weapon.
You remember Australia was on fire, you know? It's
Yeah,
like
well-
so many things.
Dude.
Like Killer Wasp, you know? They're just
Yeah.
throwing everything at us, you know?
The murder hornets.
When they were doing the Brazil is burning thing, like 2 weeks after that was like top news story.
Oh, man.
I kept posting, hey, does anybody remember Brazil?
Nothing. And
Like,
it's
fucking
funny,
gone.
like, I was with people at my job, and they'll be like, oh, I have to donate. I'm like, look, you know, even the president came out and said that it's controlled burning to control the forest.
Yeah.
The Amazon's not burning. If anything, right now there's more trees in the world than there has ever been, you know?
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
It's true. So it's like, relax. No, yeah, gave $100. Like, dude,
Yeah.
Well, and you know, there's something else too. Like, I guess it might be a little esoteric, but the world has always changed.
Oh yeah.
Like you know, where I lived was under like 2 miles of ice.
Yeah,
You know, it's
for
just
sure.
the way of things. You know,
Well,
it's just
Well, that's
the way
well, they're
world-
talking about we're fighting climate change. That's like the most ridiculous statement ever because climate is how changing.
yeah, I tell you a funny
Constant.
story. Like, back in the
That's what it
day,
does.
back in my liberal days, you know, I went to actually see Al Gore do that speech live. Inconvenient
Really?
Truth. I went to see it live.
No,
I'm super
Even a
ethereal, guys.
PowerPoint.
I'm super ethereal.
Yeah, it was here in the. It was in the university, you know, close to where I was, and I have friends there, so they got me tickets. I was like, oh my god!
Oh,
And it only took like a simple thing. Somebody came and told me, look, if that guy was serious, do you think he would be flying around in jets everywhere?
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
that guy's gonna
You
hang
know-
his clothes to dry outside and not use a dryer? Like,
when
bro,
I
go
lived
on.
when I lived in North Carolina, when I was stationed there, I spent time in Tennessee, actually near a friend of ours, Jacob, and where she lives. And I'd spent time down there, and Al Gore's, like, somebody had told me who was from Tennessee, like his house in Nashville, he pays like $11,000 to $13,000 a month just in electricity.
fucking crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
But going back to Wisconsin for a minute, because about the same time that Kyle was getting out, there was news of a mass shooting in
Have they said who the
in
perpetrator
Wisconsin.
was? Have they described him?
We know what it is. It's that fucking Sam Hyde again. He can't keep getting away with this.
I was gonna say
Sorry. Stealing your thunder.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't described them yet, so you know.
We
the
know.
police
You
are.
know.
Hold on.
You know.
You guys are ruining my bit.
Sorry, eh?
Yeah, dude. Did anybody else here bet on elections? Are you that degenerate like me?
Ooh, no, I did not.
Not
Dude,
a gambling.
you know what's funny? Like a while back, I was super convinced that Hillary was gonna run. I was like, bro, there's no way they're gonna go through with Biden. There's no way.
Why
Like,
isn't
guys,
this
their
working?
best chance was Hillary. Their best chance. And I was thinking, imagine the money they would make in ratings with a rematch. They will sell it like
Yeah,
Ali,
yeah.
an Ali rematch. You know, I was like, these people are gonna be billionaires. These media companies. You know, so I bet on that, and I
Oh.
lost, obviously. But I placed a new bet, which will get me like 6 times what I lost on that. There will not be a woman vice president. So we'll see if it works out.
Yep.
What
So
do you
anyway.
guys think of?
So
Sorry.
anyway, in connection with the shooting in Wisconsin, police are looking for this man. Name is Samuel Heidenberg. So if anybody knows the whereabouts of one Mr. Samuel Heidenberg, please contact the. I don't know if that's streamed or. Oh yeah, it's just behind.
It's on.
But yeah, please contact the.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Please
I
contact
think I
the
saw
FBI,
a guy that.
the FBI
I saw a guy that
or.
fit his description in the front seat of a car chewing gum,
Oh yeah.
laughing hysterically.
Or the Wauwatosa, Wisconsin Police Department.
Whatever happened to
Hasn't
that guy?
tried too hard for that bit.
What happened to that sick bastard who threw the kid in the mall? Remember that guy? Was
Yeah.
that last year? Whatever
Oh
happened?
yeah.
Well, that wasn't last year. That was a while back.
Was it longer?
Yeah.
As I get older, my memory starts.
I mean, I think he got convicted of murder, if I
Did he? Okay.
remember correctly.
Good.
So.
That was horrible.
He got
I do
convicted of
apologize.
Savage in.
Right.
I do apologize, Walrus. I didn't know you had a whole bit set up. You should have warned me.
Well, you should have assumed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My fault. It's my fault.
It wouldn't
Damn it.
be the Fren
saw the
report if we
tweet.
weren't stepping on some toes.
All right, you saw the tweet,
No, I
so
know,
you
I
should
know,
have
I know
known
that-
something was coming up with it.
Sorry, guys, I had to leave the call for a little bit there because my internet was so bad it wasn't letting me reconnect.
No, well, you're here now.
All right.
We were talking about you.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Not really.
So, I would just recommend this when you're about to do a bit. Just mute me before. Don't tell me. Just mute me. Because you know I'm gonna jump in and say something fucking. It's my thing, man.
Yeah.
That's the one where there was a 10 ambulance, right? Did they say how many victims?
No, you just got really quiet.
Oh, that's the shooting where they said there was 10 ambulances, right? Did they
10 ambulances. Yeah, there was a lot of people hurt. Let me see if.
Holy fuck.
That's
It was in a mall, right?
Yeah, Wayfair Mall, I think it was called.
Where is it?
Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Jeez.
I noticed the headlines about Kyle this last I don't know, couple of days have been referring to him as Kenosha Killer Kyle, KKK.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but apparently,
However-
all right. So I pulled it up here. There was a lot of people injured. At least 5 people were taken away from the mall on stretchers. At least 2 of whom were sitting upright. They said none of the injuries seemed to be life-threatening. So,
That's
okay.
so Sam, if you're listening, you got to up your game.
still around doing stuff. Like the only time I had heard of, really, the first time I had heard of him was through Medicare.
We can barely hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sound very far away.
Hello.
When we hear you, it's just really quiet.
Is there a way to adjust that?
Probably. We could hear that just fine, though.
Loud and clear there, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I had heard of the Sam through Medicare. I don't really know his whole background. what he's about, but I just
He used to have a show on Adult Swim called what was it called? Sam Hyde Saves, or it was World
World
Peace. It was called World Peace.
Oh.
Yeah. And they kicked him off because he was too based.
Ah, I see.
And there was The Whitest Kid You Know. And the $1 Million Extreme he was doing. Now he does this mostly on his Gumroad channel. You got to pay for most of his stuff now, but he'll throw some stuff on YouTube every once in a while.
I don't remember how I found him actually. I think it was through Twitter, to be honest. That would have been way back in the Wayback Machine. I think somebody must have posted or retweeted him or something, because he used to be on Twitter pretty heavy. Somebody retweeted him, and then I found some of his shit. I don't know if you guys saw the skit where he's a hip hop addict.
No.
No, I didn't.
No, I
see
haven't seen that one.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch that. It's his single dad and his brother, and he's like gone away because of his hip hop addiction.
Yeah.
And then he comes back home. Oh, it's funny as shit.
Did you ever see the one with the Rubik's Cube?
No, I don't think I saw
Where
that one.
He's like, that's the first one thing I ever saw him in, was where he has this Rubik's Cube, and he's like, Joey, show everyone how good you are with the Rubik's Cube, and he's like, and he's like, he's like breaking the Rubik's Cube as he's pretending to be retarded, and like it kept like fake headlines like Obama saying like, wow, so inspiring, you're welcome to come to the White House anytime, Gary. And it's just like, because they're shitting on that kid who built that fucking clock.
Yeah.
Obviously supposed to be a bomb. Yeah, it was obviously some kind of a bomb or something.
No, that was racism.
Like,
Yeah.
You're being
yeah,
racist. Sure. You're being racist, Johnny.
thank you. I appreciate that. That's a compliment. Thank you.
Yes.
Dude, the best part about the Clock Boy shit was he fucking hacked that shit together, and his dad probably actually did it.
Yeah.
And then he
Wait,
plugged
his
it.
dad?
He plugged it into the
I thought the kid was black.
No, he was like
Sorry, go ahead.
Somalian or Muslim, some sort of East African. So yeah, black, but not like African American. Or sorry, spirit chucker. No, yeah.
Yeah. That's Today's gamer word of the day is spirit chucker. By the way,
I forgot to do my chat post that tonight's show is brought to you by the letter N.
Always the letter N.
I just
And the
had to
word.
check. It looks like Medicard's still hanging in. He's got some bad cancer. Looks like he's still weak. At least he was 5 days.
we can barely hear
Yeah.
you, bud.
Really?
Yeah, your volume dropped way off.
Messing with our audio is a Friend Report Live tradition. So.
Oh, is it?
It has been established.
Yep. It is. It has been happening.
Part of the lore.
Yep. It's part of the
Did you see the
lore.
thread on the election that came out?
I didn't.
Yeah, that this girl went back and found all the developers for that voting system, and she found their LinkedIn's, and they started deleting them. And she found pictures of the
I was
actual
gonna
guy.
bring that up because
She brought pictures of the actual guy who's responsible for this shit. So
because
Wow.
the Dominion voting system, they were supposed to testify in some Pennsylvania court.
today they didn't show up.
And last night
But
they
it
canceled
turns
at the
out-
last second, and then today, everybody who works at Dominion Voting System has been deleting all their social media
Disappeared.
accounts and disappearing.
Yeah, And
That's not
it
suspicious
turns
at
out
all.
that guy that disappeared is this blonde guy from California. He's like a super tech, and his specialty is like moving databases. So like he puts in this
Oh.
algorithm that basically makes the voting more not voting, it's developed for other things like databases. So it takes the worst point and it brings it closer to the mean until it gets closer and closer and closer to where it wants, so it could be manipulated, you know.
Yeah, you can put
Oh.
it.
So and that's his speciality. It's like, come on, bro, you can make this up.
I also read that they do that the Dominion software or something only does percentages. It doesn't even like display the
Literally,
information.
yeah.
What the hell good does a percentage do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then
It's
how do
good
you?
for them because they can control it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot easier to manipulate too.
Yeah. I how can they I don't see if this goes before judges, I don't see how they could get away with this.
No, they can't.
That's the whole point.
I mean,
yeah, they're not
yeah.
going
Did
to.
you see
until
that?
it goes to court.
Did you guys see that whole thing that Trump got some guy to subvert the Pentagon? That goes directly to him to the White House
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
instructions. What the hell was that about?
The 25-year-old Jewish guy, he's in charge of special forces now.
You gonna
we're
trust people like Vindman?
We're fucked.
Vindman's my
Oh,
go-to example.
shut
of
it
that.
down.
You gonna trust people like
Shut
that?
it down.
And he's like, no, he's got them answering directly to him now. You know,
Is Christopher Wray still at the FBI or did he get fired?
I think he's still there.
Oh, okay.
You know that lady, Sidney Powell? She liked a tweet saying, like, why hasn't this guy been fired, Ray? Somebody posted it and she liked it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even Rudy said as much. I mean, I think the message, and someone told me today too. I had asked about it because I don't follow this the who the people are a whole lot. So like I was like, man, I've heard of the guy, but I don't know much about him, right? So I tuned in because I had nothing to do. I was showing. I just so I figured I would watch it back. And then my buddy was telling me that he's good friends with Trump and that a lot of times Bannon's show, he's actually speaking to Trump. He's not really speaking to the audience as much a lot of time, I guess. And sometimes like when he brings out information, it's coming directly from Trump. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but he said some pretty interesting, pretty hard-hitting stuff. Like heads got to roll and whatnot. There's some people that need to be fired. So I don't know if that's
They got to do
true.
something. They got to do something. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, so if that relationship is true, we may see several more people on their way out here.
Dude,
Oh,
Where the hell-
yeah, we definitely
where the hell's
should be.
Barr, bro? Where's Barr?
The last I heard of him was right when
Did anybody ever perform an early life check?
I know
well,
Lex.
we were talking about that the other day because Barr's dad is who got fucking Epstein into fucking Harvard and shit.
Yep.
But
EST, bro.
And
Yeah.
the Dunham probe, whatever happened to that, or Durham or
Durham.
whatever.
Well, I heard two fronts. I heard one front.
Yeah, somehow that
That
just totally
they're gonna
just, like,
wait.
disappeared. You know.
Yeah, like totally like, oh yeah. It'll go away if Biden wins. And I heard another narrative that said that they were pushing that as a lie to like demoralize people, but that Durham was working super hard. So, take it with a grain of salt from both sides. That's their stories.
Because like first they weren't gonna do anything until after the election. Election's been over. Like, come on, let's do some shit.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, just like having held security clearance myself, how the hell could they possibly confirm Biden for security clearance? His kid is compromised to hell and back. There's no way.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mom's about
More
this,
shit
and I
about
said,
coming out about that in the Senate. And
Brennan
I was talking to my
still has
mom's
clearance.
about- I was talking about my mom's with that stuff, and she said she laughed and she goes, "Can you imagine if when you were having your polygraph exams, if they would?" She's like, "You'd have left that room in handcuffs."
Yep.
It's just shocking to me, and we're talking about not top secret security clearance here. We're talking about the president.
Yeah.
I mean, holy
Yeah.
mackerel!
Yeah.
It's
all in
Leaving
the
Joe
keys to the
aside,
kingdom.
just his kid.
It's
know?
like the Manchurian Candidate, but it's out in the
Mhm.
open and it didn't need brainwashing because the guy just did it willingly. Like, it's
Right.
crazy.
Or I don't know. I mean, I'm not this kind
Oh,
of
and
the
you
fact
saw
that
them.
they're
You saw them.
brainwashed, but
You saw those progressives today parading around saying, "Oh, Biden, you got to keep your promise on climate change. You got to prove this $2 trillion plan
Yeah.
to combat climate change."
Oh shit!
Combat
Did
climate
you see
change.
Biden? Did you see Biden's tweet about raising fucking?
Oh
trying
my
to-
God! Hey, I
trying to
need
raise
some.
shekels.
Yeah, bro. I was about
What?
to mention that. He's
What was
like,
it? I missed
"Here's
that.
the deal, Jack." That's how he started it, bro.
No.
Like, we need
We need
yeah,
funds.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, seriously. Trump, Trump isn't agreeing to step down, so we're gonna need some shekels to get this
To
transition
fund
going.
to fund the transition.
What do you mean
No.
Fund the
transition? Like,
transition.
Let me find it. I'll throw it in chat.
oh yeah,
How did-
it's crazy, dude, crazy. I retweeted that shit. It was like fucking
Right.
laugh my ass off. Like, what kind of a fucking? Now, once again, I'm not gonna predict what's gonna happen because shit's so crazy right now.
Yeah.
But it's if that doesn't smack of desperation, nothing does.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
holy fuck.
I mean, what are your opinions? Let me ask you guys what your opinion. Do you think that they think that they're screwed, or do you think that they think they're going to get away? I know it's complete.
Nah, they
I
know
can't even-
they know they're screwed. They know they gotta know.
Yeah, they know they're screwed. And like all this new stuff is coming out on Hunter Biden in the Senate and shit. I haven't
Oh,
even had
really?
time to look at
Yeah,
it.
I put
just
it-
saw the
I put it in the
headlines
chat.
that there's all kinds of stuff coming out about that. And
Bro, just please, no more dick pics, please.
Right?
That's all I'm asking, all right? No more dick pics, all right? It's enough.
here's the deal. It was like President Trump refuses
blessed.
to concede and is
So this
delaying
is-
the transit. Dude, you're not the fucking president, jackass. You're not the president-elect.
Dude, these
Yeah.
are the people that said Trump got peed on in some hotel in Russia, yo. It's like, come on, bro. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, bro. It was on the report that they submitted. That was one of the
Yeah.
things that came out of it.
These are the same people who tell us it's not okay to kink shame.
Yep.
Yeah, which is hilarious. It's always
Can't make
one
this
thing
up,
out
bro.
of one side of your mouth, and something out of the other side of your mouth.
Dude, in 10 years,
How
somebody's
does
going to
there-
write a book about all this shit and become
Yeah.
rich. Yeah.
How does
Telling
how-
lies out of one side and sucking a dick with the other.
Oh,
and
my
how,
God.
how does the brain deal with that? Like, I don't understand how, like, that
Well,
kind
this
of
is what-
fake hypocrisy. How does the brain deal with, like, how do you rationalize that in your head?
Well, this is
They
why
don't have a high enough IQ. They don't have a high enough IQ to
Oh.
process.
No, bro. What are you talking about?
understand that they're being
It's all the free. It's all the free gives, man. What are you talking about?
No, but
Oh.
like
They'll be like, yeah, just keep the check coming, and whatever. Just do whatever you want. That's basically
If
the
they-
deal.
if they didn't have 24-hour multi-channel propaganda going, like just fucking hammering this shit in, nobody would believe it.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's
But
fucking it's fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like it's unbelievable. You
every
know?
single news station is pumping
Dude,
this
it's crazy.
garbage. They turn on their TV shows and it's
It
written
starts
into
with
the scripts.
cartoons.
Yeah, when it's written into the scripts of their TV shows. They turn on their talk shows and they have guests talking about this, hosts talking about this shit. Then all of a sudden their favorite celebrities come on and make comments on their social media about this stuff, and it's just hammered in. Because once again, if somebody made this claim and there wasn't this propaganda machine working like nonstop, nobody would believe any of it. It's so
goes
fucking
back
retarded.
to the
No, for sure.
Talmud.
For
thing.
sure.
Goes back to that Talmud.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and if it's not going today, I was at the mechanic. I was sitting with this guy. He turns on the TV, of course, CNN, and it's just like da 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 da, And I see him like kind of nodding his head, bro. And I started I went off on the guy, not in a bad way, but I kind of convinced him. It was a black person, And I was like, bro, you really think Biden got more votes than Obama? I'm like, really think about that,
Yeah.
Like, remember the enthusiasm around Obama at that time? Like, you're telling me this guy beat him in popular vote? They go, nah, I don't know. Something's not right.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And even beating Hillary too. Granted, nobody really liked Hillary. I still think Hillary got more votes.
No, well, Hillary
I
had
think that was the election that Hillary could have gotten. You know.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Trump, she was in.
Yeah.
But Hillary had that the motivating all fucking white women.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
like,
hell yeah, the wine moms and the wine.
oh God, yeah, they were out like in force. I think Trump is with this election. I think Trump made serious gains, which is crazy when you think about it, with all the propaganda against him. But he's made gains with white women.
Absolutely. I think the results even showed that.
Yeah, because white women right now are more afraid of what the liberals are going to unleash. Spear chuckers is what I mean.
And I you're right, and I think that goes back to that to the whole thing where he changed that, rescinded that law or got rid of the law where it allowed the, all the Section 8 housing in the suburbs.
Oh yeah, he really latched onto that one.
And that one, that one was aimed right. That was aimed right at suburban women, right at those wine moms.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the TV, you look at these riots. Now imagine what these guys are going to do.
Dude, gun sales with women were like fucking skyrocketing.
Highest they've ever been.
Yeah, I know a few that picked up that would never. They were like complete hippies, like no guns, no guns. And she's like, I just got a 9. I got my ammunition. Got a Mossenberg for house defense. I'm like, God damn, all right.
Because even if they won't admit to you why they did it, we all know. We all know why they did it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
20 years ago, you would have never thought of that.
And
it's because of all those violent white guys, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Them white super predators. Yeah.
There's gangs.
I brought this up
there's
before,
gangs
but
of Kyle Rittenhouse is roaming the streets.
Yeah.
I brought this up before, but my my ex was very specific on years and years ago on where we were going to buy a house and where our kids are going to go to school. And I remember mentioning it to her because she was giving me shit about my racisms. And I said, you do realize that you demanded we lived in the whitest neighborhood in our city and send our kids to the whitest school in our city. This was all you're doing. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh well," or "Oh, that's not why." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's
but
exactly
it is
why.
Yeah.
It's exactly
why. For sure. I mean, they did a study that even like white liberals that owned what's it called, that rental, where you rent, Airbnb.
Yeah.
Like white liberals will not rent to black people.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
And it's like these people go out and defend like, oh, diversity, but then when it comes to their place, they're like,
Yeah, fuck that.
Nope.
I've heard that about the Uber drivers too. Like they won't pick them up.
Come up, yeah.
Yep. It's true.
And once again, I don't blame them, but I just wish they wouldn't be hypocrites about it.
Right.
I just wish they would
be honest.
Yeah, that, and I wish they would like get over this color of your skin shit. That's not what we have a problem with.
Right.
You know.
It's a culture problem.
Well, yeah. Culture.
Culture as genetics as reflected through culture, I guess would be. Yeah, genetics as reflected through culture would probably be the best way to put it.
Or I always looked at it as an IQ problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's IQ, genetics. But then it's how it reflects in the culture,
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you look at what they call spear chucker American culture,
basketball Americans.
Yeah, you can't have, like, you're not going to end up with this type of like,
have you guys
working stripper dance shit for everybody and all this kind of bizarre behavior and this violence behavior. In a high IQ society, a high IQ society comes up with fucking ballet. And if you look at like Chinese culture, what hasn't been completely erased by the communists, it's an oriental form of ballet and orchestra, right? Like it seems foreign and bizarre to me, but you can see the similarities.
Well, and it used to be like no question, like, because everybody that's ever had to experience them knew it. But then they started with this fucking bullshit. Oh, it's just the color of your skin. We're all the same.
Well, look at this. Look at it this
despite all the evidence, they just stick with that. You know.
Look
Yep.
at
Yep.
it this way too. One of the smartest people that I've ever encountered is a black. Thomas Sowell, Dr. Thomas Sowell.
Yes. Magical
And-
Black Man. He's a smart guy.
Right. Look at
Well, and they got
Dr.
outliers.
Dr.
We don't have to go into the bell curve and explanation,
You
do we?
know.
But
Walter E. Williams. No, I'm just saying that.
No,
that
no,
that's-
absolutely.
No, that my point is that's the role that IQ plays. When they had the when they had the high IQ, they're not relying on their emotion. They're relying on logic, and reason, critical thinking.
yeah,
Otherwise, they're just relying completely on emotion. That's where the
Mhm.
whole "you dissing me" and "you better respect" and all that.
Yeah.
What'd you say about
It's
my
all
mama?
emotional.
What'd you say about my mama?
I have a
Dude, that reminds me. When I real quick, just when my brother was locked up, he said that he saw the biggest fight in there that broke out because these black guys were arguing about whose bitch was the baddest.
yo, don't you think your bitch be better than my bitch?
Shit, my bitch be better than your bitch.
Yo,
Yo, what'd you say?
Alright, sorry, I just had to get that. Go ahead.
that's like being like a fucking 8-year-old and going, my dad could beat up your dad. No, and then you get into a fight over it. And then you
Right.
grow
Like
up
that.
and you stop doing that. You
Exactly.
grow up.
In,
Yeah. We got
reminds
over
me
that in like
that,
kindergarten, but you know.
Reminds me of that video I put in the Twitter chat there with the guy with the chicken. I wouldn't mess with that lady.
Oh yeah.
She was fierce, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be dissing my old lady. She gonna come cut you up.
Right?
I
Throw
read
some
a-
soapy chicken in.
But no wonder they're always after non-black women. Jesus, can you
No
imagine?
kidding.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
dude.
They're dragon ladies, man.
a less controlled, mentally having self-control, having less self-control, and like that testosterone in their women. Jeez, they're dangerous. Like,
The
fuck.
girl,
Yeah.
I mean, the guys
I
aren't
read,
any better, but yeah.
yeah.
I've heard that the black women, like in the women's prison system, like that, women's prisons are far worse than men. From what I understand, I don't.
Yeah, as far as violence, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that too.
Now there was I read a great article today. You ever heard of this guy called Jason Whitlock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put out an article basically saying that for the last 50 years, white liberals have been trying to disconnect like black people from their faith. So they adopt like idols that they have now as their religion, So
Yeah.
only because of the color of their skin, that's what defines
Yeah.
it. He just went at him, Yeah, he's like the only one that I've seen from sportscasters or anybody that speaks like clearly,
Yeah.
Well, and that's a good
But I was
point
like-
because like they used to at least be heavily Christian, and that did like
Exactly.
keep them somewhat in check.
And
You
he
know
says
what
that
I mean?
also
Yeah,
those
you get your Jesse Lee Peterson types.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. And he says that all the white liberals are also pushing that to be black is only to have the virtues of like, being rich, dealing drugs, committing crimes, like they make
Gotta
that,
be
like,
an athlete.
like they glorify it.
What else is there?
We're gonna get
Close
gold
the hole,
teeth.
right?
We're gonna get gold teeth and spinner rims.
I want to do hood rat shit with my friends.
They spinning.
I gotta
They do
put
be
the
spinning
video-
though, bruh.
I gotta put the video in there from Chicago back years ago, I guess. But they had these things they put on the mufflers, and I got this video, and the guy's like, "Yo, man, we got these whistle, man. They go woo woo woo."
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
I
fucking
remember
whistlers.
those.
God damn it,
So
those
hilarious.
are fucking annoying.
Say Chicago again. I want to hear. I love how he said that. Say
What,
Chicago again.
Chicago. I don't know.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I don't notice
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, of course you don't. But yeah, you never notice your own accent, right?
Yeah, whenever somebody tells me I have one, I'm just like, I feel like I speak like clearly and a normal person.
Yeah.
See, I don't think you have much of an accent anyway, but
I was living on the east coast of Canada for about 4.5 years, and when I'd come back to visit,
that's why you sound like
My
one of the
family-
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, my family, my friends. I was like, oh man, you have such an accent from out there. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I was taking a bus back to visit my family in Ontario, and we stopped off somewhere and got off on New Brunswick, and so I'm out there and I'm like, well, we have like a half-hour layover or whatever. So I pull my guitar and I'm sitting out front of the bus station, having a smoke and playing some guitar, and this Newfie comes over, this Newfoundlander comes over.
Oh yeah.
And we sit there talking for a couple of minutes, and he's like, you mind if I listen to you play your music and blah 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 and whatever. I was playing some Johnny Cash stuff or something. He goes, oh, I love that stuff. I love that stuff. And after a couple of minutes of talking, he goes, so what part of the Rock are you from, bye? And which translates to, what part of Newfoundland are you from?
Yeah.
And I looked at him like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm from Eastern Ontario. Like, what do you? I'm not from Newfoundland. He goes, oh, you have quite the accent. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, it was getting bad, man. But I didn't hear it.
Oh, that
I was getting
accent
that.
kills me.
Yeah.
That Newfie accent just kills me. I just find it absolutely
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny as shit. Yeah.
It's like this. It's based, of course, on the Irish accent, but it's changed so much. A lot of it's the speed and the kind of the timing of it is the biggest thing, because it's there are some words and things, but whatever. But like, I knew a Newfoundlander who was living in Halifax at the time, and I didn't believe he was from Newfoundland because he didn't seem to have an accent until a couple of his friends came by, and he goes, "Where you been to, boys?" And he said it just like, "Where you been to, boys?" I'm like, fuck, you are from Newfoundland. Holy shit. Because they just, all of a sudden, they come out and they'll be like, and they'll just like speak in this rapid way. And it's, yeah, you got to hear it.
Yeah, you guys
You
like
gotta hear
the Newfoundland thing. It's like reached down to North Dakota, and you know, you could hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, Wisconsin, like up there, has a similar.
And once again, like there's, you can, if you look at where the accents originally come from, you can find similar populations, and I think a lot of the time it's Irish or it's something like that. But I mean, I guess Boston is Irish, is it not? And they have a completely different, but they have older population and different influences, I guess. But
Boston's like the car.
yeah.
Pack the car.
The Hopper.
It's gonna be
Yeah, the
wicked
new
pissed.
Hopper from Dish TV.
The
That's an old
Hopper.
reference.
Can't tell if they're wearing a fish on their head or a hat when they say, "I got my cap on." Did you say carp or did you say cap? I can't tell.
Dude, the other one I saw today, did you see that Nikki Haley tweet? She's like, oh, we should condemn BDS because this and that and Israel, you know. And people in the bottom were like, yeah, where were you when Trump needed defending? Where were you when, you know,
fuck.
BLM or with Antifa? You didn't have this condemnation for them, you know?
Well, they
didn't see
passed
that.
it. The Secretary of State designated BDS as an anti-Semitic anti-Semitic organ.
Based. How based?
Base.
Jesus Christ.
How is it
No
based?
more-
If anti-Semitic doesn't wait. Oh, is it based that they're? I'm confused.
No, I was being very sarcastic. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's the
okay.
opposite of based. It's super gay.
I'm
what's-
retarded, you see,
what's-
and I'm a
what's
little
funny-
slow.
It's all right. We all are a bit.
What's funny is how liberal the whole boycott thing is, and they're kind of caught between this. Oh, are we? No, we love Jewish people. We just hate this whole, hurting these Palestinians. They can't quite make up their mind, and it's also good because it draws out the controlled people and the tribal members on the right.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed that like most actual leftists have like an issue with Israel or Zionism. It's only like fucking libtards, progressives, that type, who
Yeah.
can't seem to wrap their brains around it.
No, but if you go to any of these liberals who are into this boycott type stuff, and you go, do you think that the Jewish people have a right to their homeland and it should be Israel and we should be, anti-Semitism should be banned or whatever? They'll agree with you.
Huh?
I mean, nobody wants anything bad. I just, don't
No,
want to
but you-
give all the money and all the privilege
yeah.
to them. Yeah, they can be over there.
So if you give them that conundrum, they don't realize that it's a conundrum, and you'd have to spell it out for them, and then they'd be like, "Whoa, you're anti-Semitic." Like,
Yeah, it's like that's what you were getting to.
yeah.
Well, it's funny how much I'm like, will follow you until they get to that word, and then they get stuck on it. You know what
Yeah,
I
it's like whoa, whoa there, cowboy. Relax.
mean? If you say Israel, but then as soon as they figure out, wait, Israel's Jewish.
But you know what?
Yeah, I
I've
mean-
noticed lately that people don't have such a harsh reaction, especially now that people have been so aware of the media. If you just make that little connection at the end and be like, do you know that all of media is owned by 6 companies? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And just start from there, and then you massage the dough.
Yeah.
Eventually you make a pie. Oh, this guy. Gotta massage it in. You can't just go, it's done. Like right away. You can't lead with that. You can't start with that.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. I have this coworker, and I keep telling him to listen in. I don't know if he's.
You don't have any co-workers. Quit lying.
Just in case he is listening in. We were talking about Thomas Sowell, buddy. He still
is
believes.
he a fan?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And
Oh,
I like
yeah.
Thomas
but-
Sowell too. But it's funny because I keep kind of reminding him that Thomas Sowell is such an outlier, and it's
He is.
not just the problems with African Americans isn't just Democrats.
No.
'Cause he always
Thomas Sowell is like the crown jewel of that.
Yeah. But he always kind of brings up the. Did you know that they had really high marriage rates before all the welfare stuff and blah blah blah?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
they did have a better lot than when they learned to live off Gibbs, but you got to remember that back then there was a larger section of the population of spear chucker Americans who were kind of off the grid, right? Like they were living in their little hut villages, and one of the reasons why they had segregation was because they weren't safe to be around.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because the ones that moved to the city were the high functioning ones.
Yeah, that were able
You
to
know-
hold on a job and act like,
Yeah, the other ones weren't being counted, right? So when they say they had a higher marriage rate and lower divorce rate and better parenting and all that, it was the ones that we could count because the rest of them were doing the same thing they always do.
And that wasn't that long ago.
Wow, I
either.
never heard that, yeah. Makes sense.
Even Jesse Lee Peterson grew up in that environment.
Well, that guy's a
Oh,
gangster. I love that guy.
Yeah, so it really wasn't that long ago.
Remember that show? It was like, do you love white people? The guy's like, oh, I love all people. Do you love white people? And the guy gets up and leaves. Bro,
Yeah.
Amazing.
beta!
Beta.
Bro, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Jesse
That's
Lee's
awesome.
a hoot.
Dude, that guy's awesome. And what's the name of this other guy that used to have a show and then he got off and he's only on Twitter?
The Great White Hope?
Yeah, he's thin.
I don't know.
Not sure which one you're talking
I'll
about.
remember.
There was another guy. I don't know what his whole game was, but I kept seeing him, and he was. I found him because he did an interview with the White Girl Bleed a Lot guy. What's that guy's name? Anyways, there was a guy, Sotomayor.
Sotomayor?
Yeah, something.
Something like that.
Yeah. and he was calling out a lot of that shit. I watched a couple of his YouTube videos. I don't know if he's still on there, but he was just like, "Do you not see that it's black people are the problem? Like, how can you not see this?" And he's like, blacker than as anything, but he's like, it's an intelligent guy who's afraid for his the future of his family.
There's actually quite a few
you know what?
black people like that, especially the more intelligent ones. They're like, black people are their biggest problem. You can't blame fucking white people,
All the problems didn't, suddenly spontaneously appear because of welfare. They became noticeable when they started shipping these southern rural blacks into the cities.
Well, noticeable for you guys, maybe.
Yeah,
rural, my family's rural southern
I remember.
people, so
but this is my point.
We were quite aware of it already.
But this is my point. But the rural southerns knew it, and that's why they had their segregation. And then once it got into the cities, all of a sudden it starts getting counted in statistics. And then the liberals,
like, holy shit, 13 to 50.
Communists come in, and the tribals come in and say, "Well, it's all white people's fault."
There you go.
Oh, it's because they're economically disadvantaged. Yet they're walking around in fucking $500 shoes with fucking.
Oh, I
but they didn't have the money for them. They stole them.
The guy's name is John Miller. You ever seen that guy?
I'm not sure I know him. I'll have to look him up.
They utterly destroyed places like Chicago, my city, Gary, Indiana, which borders it, Indianapolis, Detroit, St. Louis. I mean, they just crushed these places. I mean, they flooded them in for the factory work. The factories closed up as we switched economies for manufacturing, and then boom, all welfare.
I mean, look at Detroit.
Guys
like 60, 70 years ago, Detroit was the crown jewel of American fucking.
You bet it was.
Manufacturing,
And now it's fucking might as well be third world. There's probably third world countries that are better off than fucking Detroit. Oh, hell yeah. Honestly,
I think the Detroit area is pretty much being taken over by Arabs now.
I don't know.
I gotta check out for a second. Hold on, guys. I'll be back.
But at the time, all the blacks moved there. They moved there because there was work. They go work in the factories, right? Yep. So at least it made sense, But then throwing them all fucking Gibbs me that's all over the place, No incentive.
And we can thank Lyndon B. Johnson for that, for giving all the fucking handouts to blacks and making them lazy.
Yeah. And
old LBJ, you dirty dog with Matilda Krim.
Well, that escalated quickly, right?
Banging that Jewish Mossad mistress in the White House there. Yep. Yeah, old LBJ, the dirty dog.
And
sending our sailors and Marines to die at Israeli hands. Yeah, that guy's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were incentivizing breeding. Right? They were incentivizing breeding without, without fathers and all kinds of shit. And then,
Well, like I said, I read somewhere, and it was a Jewish publication. I wish I would have saved it, but they said in about 25 years, blacks, pretty much, for the most part, they ain't gonna be 13% anymore. It's gonna be more like 4 or 5 because.
Oh no, I heard that it's like 2% because once you take children and women out, and then you take the populations that's not in prison, it's like 2%.
Oh, I mean the population as a whole. Like.
Oh yeah, the whole population is gonna go down.
Right, because of the abortion rates.
Yeah, abortions and
I heard a crazy stat that said
that's why we need to legalize abortion.
More kids are aborted than are born.
Yeah, we need to legalize abortion so that
legal.
Can start happening a little faster.
Are you fucking joking? It is legal, dumbass.
No, it is legal. What I mean is, easier access, but specifically for black people.
They already put them right in black neighborhoods for a damn good reason. But
That's right.
actually,
yeah,
one of the things
Margaret Sanger was the main thing, eugenics, when she created Planned Parenthood. You know?
I remember it was just like a few, maybe 10 years ago that they came out with the Plan B pill and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually making fucking. I bet you that's
Huge
like
dent.
put a dent in their fucking.
So is the Depot has too. Depot prevent the shots.
Yeah, I bet. And that probably puts a significant dent in their
Moloch is not happy.
reproduction rate.
Right?
Oh,
Sitting around in his office pissed off. What the fuck is it? Who allowed this? Dude. Smoking a big cigar, petting a white cat and shit, you know?
telling his synagogue, "Say, you guys, you going a little too far with your inventions here.
Yep.
You need to."
The problem is white people aren't breeding as much as they should be either. So.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, remember that thing that Poland? I mean, if a guy will come out here and just come out with pro-white family or family pro-family, dude, he would sweep the elections.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that would say, "Hey, all the people that are jobless, instead of going to college, we're gonna send you to technical school, and the government's gonna pay for it."
There was a
and send you to do a trade or something.
You know,
there was
or
a
they could just
big thing
because
in,
the 12
in
years
Germany.
they have them in school, they just teach them bullshit that doesn't really teach them anything. If we actually did our schooling,
Yeah, I know.
better,
I went to college, so I know. Don't worry.
They could
If I
learn
can
fucking
interject-
machining and fucking or welding or metal shop and
Yeah.
woodworking, auto shop, shit like that in school.
If I can,
you know,
And go back to heavy ass tariffs. Everybody got to pay to play here, you know, and
If
get
I
all our
can,
money back.
yeah.
Cancel taxes, raise tariffs. Fuck it, you know.
We used to not have an income tax in the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah.
99% of the fucking budget. We didn't have a huge budget either because we didn't have a full
No,
bunch of fucking
we had a
welfare
surplus.
queens and shit. And we had a surplus from just the tariffs because
Yep.
we mostly made our own shit. Everybody had a fucking job.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
Before you
actually
get
what
off
made
top-
us a very strong, vibrant economy that, you know.
Before you get off topic, man, it's tough for me to get in here, man. The big thing, like in Germany, going along with the preservation of German blood, etc. You know, they offered benefits to people who did get married, stay married, and have kids.
Yeah.
Germans, and if we had a program like that,
Mhm.
I think it would be pretty
What's-
successful.
Did
Well,
you hear about
see,
the one
the
in
problem
Poland
is-
that they give you like 30,000, and then if you have one kid, you pay back 20.
Yeah,
two
Hungary's
kids,
doing
you pay
that too.
back-
But the problem with that in America is who's going to actually take that? You know, we don't have a homogenous society.
Yeah.
We'd probably be incentivizing exactly what
Bro,
we don't.
we gotta cancel immigration first. Worry about that later. We need to stop the flow,
Yeah.
and then 10-year moratorium minimum. Nobody gets in. You know,
Well,
and then
I-
we
like-
see.
I think you
We see what happens.
misunderstood me. I think you misunderstood me. In America, I mean, this law would be targeted whites.
Yeah. But once again, you've got to.
I mean, we're
Figure
so
that
far
shit out
away
first.
from where we gotta right now make it like they're trying to make it illegal for white people to breed, probably. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you know.
far along the list. Yeah.
we gotta worry about fucking slowing the train before we can worry about going back the other way. But is that you, Johnny? You got the background weird noise going on?
God damn it! It's like I can't roll my window down. It says I'm not talking, but then if I do, I guess the noise still fucking comes through, and I don't know why.
That's, better a little noise than you cooking to death, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want our whites roasting. That's left for somebody else.
Yeah.
Did I see that speech from the National Justice Party?
Yeah. Which one?
I don't know. I think they took one out today. Like 2 minutes in, this guy just yells, "It's the truth!" It's like, yeah, we know, bro.
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
crowd's getting pretty wild.
Maybe they listened to
Oh,
last
dude.
night's show and got inspired by Juke Nukem over here.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody pays attention to that stuff. Mike Enoch's a Jew. No thanks.
Is he for real?
Yes, he's
I
a
mean,
Jew.
Are you fucking? You're kidding me, bro.
Like hell I am.
I just heard of these guys, but the guys.
I'm not
Yeah, I
kidding
don't-
you.
And he
I don't
named
joke.
them. He named them. You know?
I don't even have a sense of humor, man. I'm pretty serious dude, man. I don't really even know how to make jokes. So no, I'm serious.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, but yeah.
He admitted it. He admitted it himself.
I mean, I've heard the
leave the
clips.
call again to fix my fucking. Hold on.
I've heard
That
the
dude-
clips, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about his wife.
You can follow what you want, man. No thanks, man. I've been involved in movements before, man. It's all a crock. It's a bad idea. That shit is just
To be
ripe
involved?
for people to it's ripe
Well,
for
I mean,
people
yeah,
to
of course it
exploit.
is. Anybody doing anything pro-white is going to be rife for infiltration. I mean, that's just kind of part of the place we're at right now.
I had some conversations with some guys, mostly on Twitter, but some guys were pushing various kind of pro-white groups, and I kept saying like, it's one thing to have that mentality and associate with the right types of people, but if you want to do something and you want it to be successful, it's best to do it covertly and do things like, oh, we're going to start up a fencing club,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah, I get that, but I mean, that's what
vet-
Ram did, and those guys are sitting in jail right now. So,
Yeah.
I know, but even then,
like,
it's difficult,
I
but-
get, and also, the NJP, there's no like membership. They're not taking members or anything right now. So, like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, I disagree completely with like counter signaling it, because that helps nobody but the people
No.
that want to keep us
No,
down.
but-
You know what I mean?
But I'm just talking about a way to make connections with the right people in real life without turning yourself.
Yeah,
into a
I
fucking
understand,
hate
and I
squad.
think that's a big part of what they're trying to
here's
do.
Some,
It's
here's
like,
some interesting news. It just came in. The circuit courts have been reassigned, and effective
That's-
November 20th, 2020, order pursuant Title 28, United States Code, Section 42. In charge of Michigan is Brett Kavanaugh. In charge of Wisconsin is Amy Coney Barrett. In charge of Pennsylvania is Samuel A. Alito. And in charge of Georgia is Clarence Thomas.
This is what
He's coming home.
This is what that's what I was telling you guys earlier.
Yeah. Watch out, Corn Pop's fucking coming home, boys.
Hello, Joseph.
you hear that?
Hello,
You hear that
Joseph.
rusty razor clanging against the barrels?
Oh,
He's
boy,
coming.
You better have your chain handy.
Bro, somebody's got to make the Groiper like meme when they're walking and they're multiplying, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
Clarence Thomas's face on it, you know?
Just scraping it down the wall, scraping the rusty razor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the meme
Hell
they
yeah.
got with the the black meme. You know, my favorite
It's all
one, the one that came
Clarence
out. Yeah, the one that came out the best is all Clarence Thomas, and they've got Biden's face on the girl.
No. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
I like the one that it's a Titanic and Kamala and Biden are like, in front of the ship, and the iceberg is Clarence Thomas' face, you know?
Nice.
I like the hey Joe, come on in, have a seat, take your time. No, take your time, Joe. I can wait. I've
Yeah.
been waiting a long time, Joe. He's like, I've been waiting a long time.
Yeah. Dude, there's
Yeah,
so many.
I remember that as a young man. They really went after it. They were brutal to
Oh,
Thomas.
fucking right.
It was awful. And the man held
Yeah.
himself with dignity. I mean, he carried himself very well, and they really trashed him. Now, I mean, to being fair, I hope that wouldn't weigh in on Clarence Thomas's decision because it should be unbiased. You know.
Nah, I don't care anymore. I get exactly what you're saying, but you know what? Like, I hope Kavanaugh isn't such a good boy that he doesn't have an axe to grind.
They did him dirty too.
Because they
Is
fucking
it?
dragged him through the fucking coals, and it was all bullshit, and everybody fucking knew it, and they just fucking made his life miserable.
Yeah. It was kind of Comey Barrett came prepared for that. They were going to do that to her.
I heard some crazy theory that the actual attorneys for Bush during Bush and Gore, his attorneys were Amy Comey, Kavanaugh, and Roberts or Gore.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah, that got Bush the presidency in that contested year.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
What was funny? Did you see the bit where the fuck, you just said her name?
Amy Comey?
Yeah. Did you see the bit where she had a fucking blank piece of paper?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro.
And she's like,
Somebody made all the letters like the N-I-G-G with her holding up the paper.
Yeah.
They
But just like
her, questions about case law in court, and this.
And it was all from her mind.
It was all from her memory. Yeah, she didn't need any notes.
I loved how how spaz they got when it was like, what do you mean you don't have notes? What the fuck?
Bro, the best one is the one where they took the picture of her leaning over and they Photoshop a big ass on her. That's the best one, bro.
Oh, I saw that one today.
I did.
She already has a fairly nice ass.
I did a version of that where I blew up her ass, and somebody had posted. I didn't realize who it was, so I made her give her a big bubble butt and fucking.
Now there's so many crazy things that have gone on. You know, it's tiring. It's also tiresome, right? It's bro, dude, did you ever hear about that case that Ilhan Omar, that when the husband cheated on his wife to be with Ilhan Omar, like 2 blocks away from where she
doing that?
No, but the same week that it happened, like 2 blocks from her house, they killed a woman that looked exactly like her, that lived in the same building.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it was like, bro, I just saw it come up again.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a Somalian immigrant,
Fuck.
Bro, they got the wrong lady. And they put 2 pictures, one next to each other. It looks, she has green eyes, red hair. They look exactly the same,
Yeah. Fuck, they got luck on their side, boy. They got luck on their side.
Definitely.
Yeah,
we had the God on our side.
The next day when they filed for divorce, it happened. The very next day that they filed for divorce. It was an Ethiopian national. Randomly kills a girl named Marguerite McGill while walking a dog in D.C., very close to where Dr. Minot works and lives. Both have curly red hair.
So wait, you're saying that? Are you implying that her ex-husband arranged that kind of thing? Is that the
Ilham and her? I mean, who's got connections to Somalian immigrants?
Yeah,
So
and probably after the divorce,
wait,
I want half. Give me half. Oh, you want half?
Calm down. I'm trying to. So you're saying that she was trying to take out his new. Is that what you mean? Like, I'm confused because she's a black lady. She doesn't have curly hair, does she?
No. Ilhan Omar stole the husband from the girl who looked like a girl that was murdered the day after they filed for divorce. The guy divorced the lady.
I thought somebody tried to kill somebody who looked like Omar.
That's what I was thinking. I was
no.
Oh yeah.
No, it was the wife of the guy that cheated with her.
Fuck.
The day after the divorce.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, Jesus, that's that's not suspicious at all.
Wow.
Well, I've met a few Somalians in my life, unfortunately, and I just got to say they're dangerous people.
I would imagine.
Can you even imagine the smell?
Oh, I've lived in a Somalian heavy neighborhood.
I know exactly what it smells like.
Yeah.
I used to be a lift, and
oh shit.
you go to the airport to get in the queue, and we all shared the same kind of like break area as the taxi drivers, and the taxi drivers are all Somalian, and these guys would just hang out in this break room all day, every day, playing like games and stuff, and it just smelled like cheap microwave food at all times.
Jesus.
I know I've told this story before on the live cast here, but a spear chucker American from Detroit I ran into in Ottawa, and we were discussing Somalians, and he called them spear chuckers with a hard R. And I was just like, I don't even know what to
Sounds
say.
like a good guy.
When he said it, when he dropped it, it sounded like a Dave Chappelle pretending to be a white guy thing.
Yeah.
It was like,
I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that the African ones are not fond. So I don't know if that's true or not.
You were cutting out
For a couple of months back, where like
I tried
blacks
touching
from
on this.
Africa were like criticizing.
What I said was I have heard before that the African ones are not very welcoming to the Americans. Like
I mean they don't even see each other as.
I tried touching on that.
Go ahead.
You listen to the Hebrew Israelite guys, and they don't even see them as the same race.
Anyway, as I was saying, my dad told me one time when he was in South Africa, when he was in the Navy, he was telling me he had a buddy who got out and married an African woman. And one thing that she always talked about is how much they fucking hate African American or spear chucker Americans, because they always say the black Americans always think that they're better than every other African. They always act like it and say it.
They do.
They can't fucking stand it over
and
there. They hate spear chucker Americans.
Yeah, they even say they even say they're better. If you listen to like Captain Tazariak or some of these guys, like they actually believe that they're not only different race but superior. But
think about this: all these celebrity spear chucker Americans who have been like, oh, I'm sick of this racism. I'm gonna go back to the homeland and visit and shit. They always come back.
They always
always
come
back.
Dave Chappelle back
Quickly.
So.
Yeah, I know
and he was rich, so imagine.
But I mean, even Muhammad
and he married
Ali.
an Asian.
Yeah. But Muhammad Ali does this big, my slave name Cassius Clay, and I'm gonna change to my not slave name Muhammad Ali, and then he goes and rumble in the jungle and all this shit. What does he do? He comes back home. He could have stayed. He had millions of dollars.
Yeah,
we go
like
back
here.
to Africa. Blah, blah. They always come back. There's been a few times that like groups of them went to different places in Africa. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be blah blah blah, and never. They always come back.
Well,
the wealth that they have over there,
It's technically part of Africa.
We should whenever they leave, we should just invalidate their passports so they can't come back. Just invalidate their passports so they're not allowed back in the country.
Yep. There's got to be a precedent for that.
Even Malcolm X, had a big change when he went to Africa. I mean, he went to Saudi Arabia, but it's technically Africa. But right there in Africa, pretty much. And he learned, intermingling with the 1 or 2 billion Muslims at now I just brain fart, the Hajj, that a lot of Africans there and stuff, and he realized that the huge difference. And
he also found out that sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna throw this in quickly. He also found out that Arabs think that blacks are subhumans.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that was the whole key to the slave trade, by the way, was that the Jews were in Arab countries and they were the link. They were the link, the Arabs were the link to get slaves from Africa and sell them to
the Arab and the other people that call themselves Semites.
Right. So, the Jew wasn't going out into the bush of Africa and capturing flags. It was the Arabs.
Yeah. And it wasn't the white folk either, that's for sure, no matter what they say.
No, the whites had no relationships down there. They had no connections.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we've been fighting piracy and slavery for since we started banning it, hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, even before
Right,
we banned it.
Yeah, they have been around for thousands of years before now.
Thomas Jefferson founded the U.S. Marine Corps to go and kill off the Barbary pirates who were enslaving whites.
On the shores of Tripoli, for Christ's sakes, right? Like it's in your.
That's right.
Yep.
But I gotta check out here for a bit again.
It's in the song, the Marine Corps hymn.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing before I check out here. I got some family stuff, kids and stuff. I just realized this. You remember the "Did you see Kyle? He's about this tall" joke?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's this synchronicity or things because now we have Kyle.
Now we have Kyle, yeah.
Like it's almost like we foretold that we'd have a
Kyle.
hero. I hope nothing. I hope he doesn't say anything to ruin that shit. I hope he keeps his mouth shut and gets off and doesn't go to jail and everything goes good. I hope he doesn't end up like one of these.
He's gonna be rich, bro.
I just hope he doesn't end up like one of these based Shield Man or whatever it was. Oh yeah, and he turns out to be. I hope he ends up being a cool cat.
No, you saw it in the recordings before. He practiced with the police before this happened. He used to go on rides with cops. He's on the right side. That guy, I trust that guy.
He's
not gonna go out and say Black Lives Matter next week. All right.
Yeah.
$2 million. He's not gonna say anything.
Right, but I think I think there's a certain weird. There's this weird thing going on where we're getting this kind of. I think it's just the mass consciousness that we're all talking to each other and we have all this interconnectivity that these coincidences keep popping up and they're quite interesting.
No, they are
quite fucking interesting. It's like
a lot of crazy shit going on.
Remember back at the whole Keck thing and all that, and we're just going like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is so weird.
Yeah,
like I know a lot of this is coincidence, but holy shit, dude.
Dude, imagine trying to explain this to somebody in real life. It's like it's very weird.
I've shown some normies
not easy.
Stuff.
I wonder where to start.
Gotta start slow, like I say. Gotta massage the dough.
I've shown some normies this stuff, and it's the smart ones kind of go, whoa, this is really fucking good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I always, I was eased into it and shit, and like the last thing is gonna be the JQ, but I mean that's the most important one.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you guys are still on when I get back, I'll check in, and hopefully we'll get some more conversating going on.
I'm sure we'll still be going.
All right.
Yep.
All right, bye, Aaron.
Later.
Later, bro.
Later.
Easy stuff, man.
I'm gonna dip out for a little bit too. I'm about to park, and I'm gonna connect to the Wi-Fi at this truck stop here.
All right, cool.
So,
Cool.
Ollie shall be back.
So then I'll have a stable connection. Cool. We'll talk about stuff.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Did Tucker cook or he did not cook? What do you think?
That's a really good question. Because what they were saying at first I was like, I'm not ready to throw Tucker under the bus. But then when
Me too. I was in that camp. I got to be honest.
Yeah. But then when I saw what Sidney Powell said about him, I'm like, oh, man.
Bro, did you see that? I sent him affidavits. I sent him this. He never answered my calls. Bro, it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
I missed all of this. Can I get like a quick
It's not
rundown?
looking good for Tucker. It's looking great for us, Fuck that guy.
All right. Because the first day they said that Tucker cucked. Because there was all the election stuff going on, and all he talked about was like Christmas and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then he put in a thing on that show where he's like, "And when people ask me about my future on this network,
Yep.
My
I'm
role is
doing
actually
stuff.
going to be expanding here, and blah blah
Yep.
blah blah blah. And so that definitely like casts like some serious doubt. And then last night he was saying something about like we offered Sidney Powell to come on the show and deliver the evidence, and she got angry or something like that, you know.
Yep.
Well, then when you hear what Sidney Powell said about it, and she's like, "No, we offered him, like we sent him affidavits and everything."
Yeah, signed
And
affidavits, and that's evidence.
that
That's
is evidence,
legit.
yeah.
That's legit. Yeah. So, and you know what? I didn't throw him under the bus when he had that whole spiel about like America and how beautiful it is and this and that. And you know what? I thought about it like, oh, he's throwing a white pill. Like, okay, even though everything's fucked up, bro, we're still in a
it
great
made
place
me
compared
question
to a
it.
lot of places,
It definitely made me question, but I wasn't ready to throw him under the bus yet.
Yeah,
sure.
not after that. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
bro, he's done a lot of great things. Remember when he stopped the war? I mean,
Right.
come on. You know what I'm saying? We got,
Yeah.
I was like, I got to cut him a little slack,
Yeah.
Then after the Sidney Powell thing, that woman doesn't look like the type who would throw away her career on BS,
No,
She looks
she's
like a
definitely
bitch,
not going to do that.
Bro, she looks like a straight bitch. Like, I wouldn't want to cross that lady,
Yeah.
She looks like one of these, school professors from, like, some, old novels that would just make your life miserable, That's
Well,
the type of lady.
We don't have to agree with Tucker on everything. It's more about supporting the policies than the person, because people are always going to let you down.
Yeah.
I
just,
I still have his book. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's good.
Ship of Fools?
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah,
pick
I
that
listened
up.
to the
Well,
audio
like-
book because he reads it. It's not
Like
bad.
this
yeah.
morning, I was actively defending him. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I understand they can't put out all the evidence now. That's for court, and it's not for fucking
Yeah, for them to create a counter plan,
yeah. So you can't be putting. But as a journalist, he can't say it as a fact and without the evidence. So I was-
Yeah, and that's also locker room talk. You keep that shit to yourself,
yeah.
So,
You shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
You don't go out and call somebody out because they didn't want to be a source for you.
And in
Type
the
of-
middle of me
type
doing
of
that,
journalistic shit is that,
exactly. And in the middle of me doing that is when they came out what Sydney was talking about, and I'm like,
Bro.
well, that certainly
Bro, I'm
changes
telling you.
things,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I was like, fuck.
It
Hannity
definitely
all the
changes
way,
things.
baby. Boomer Hannity's gonna save us,
I mean, I've been
there's an
watching
update.
OAN and mostly these days anyway when I want to see something. So
But don't forget also, guys, that Tucker is friends with Hunter Biden.
yep,
He admitted that. So
Tucker's involved in Pizzagate. He used to go
Yeah.
to Comet Pizza all the
I was gonna say that because then all this stuff comes out was like when they
But-
were doing the write up about Comet Pizzas, they name dropped Tucker Carlson.
There's an update in the election thing though. So there's a law firm, Kirkland and Ellis,
Mm-hmm.
and they apparently were brought on to represent Pennsylvania against Trump, and now they're
Now what? You broke
now
up.
they're refusing to represent Pennsylvania against President Trump.
Oh, they were supposed to represent the state of Pennsylvania.
That's my understanding.
Wait, why is the state of Pennsylvania hiring private fucking lawyers?
Good question.
That doesn't make any like the president has to. He has to, because it's
Right.
it's you can't use the government, but that's the state of Pennsylvania. They're supposed to have a whole fleet of fucking.
Well, what's the defense version of the attorney general for a state?
Well, the attorney general isn't. They represent the state.
So
Good.
would the attorney general typically defend the state in a lawsuit like that?
Yes, as far as I know.
Yes. Because. Yeah, because they represent the state. So, like, when in a criminal trial, it's the state versus whoever,
Yeah.
So, when And then be representing the state of Pennsylvania would be the Attorney General or whatever, you know?
Yeah, so that is weird.
Yeah. That's why I
So
was like,
how
wait,
it
that doesn't
works
sound
is
right. You know, when you sue the
Kirkland
government, they don't go hire a
Kirkland
lawyer.
and,
You know what I mean?
So maybe the attorney general was seen as not good enough, and they needed
No,
to bring in some brass.
Well,
explain
that
it,
might be a
guys.
conflict of
Hello?
interest is possible.
I'm trying to explain it. I got it right here.
Do it.
Kirkland and Ellis withdraws from representing Pennsylvania's Secretary of State in the Trump case.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Yeah,
And
because they were
here's
suing
the-
directly the Secretary of State, right?
Right. Here's the documents. I can drop it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can't sue the actual state. I don't think for that.
I'll put it in our twit squatter. Here's the files.
Well,
What was up,
I
Steven?
didn't notice. I just hope this is all going somewhere because
Yeah.
one by one, I'm hearing doomers on our side, and I'm just not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where the
I'm
hell's
trying-
all these intellectual dark web individuals? You know, this Daily Wire folk. Where are they? You know,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got mighty quiet too, haven't they?
bro, like crickets. I can hear crickets, dude. It's crazy.
And fucking, well, I mean, like fucking Zyoclops there, fucking.
Oh man, did you see?
He was
fucking
already
Walsh?
counter signaling and shit. You know what I mean?
What's the name of one of them? Walsh. That we said, oh, the Walsh arc when he started like defending white people, and now he just came out and tanked it again.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Murray's saying that.
He came out saying like, "Oh, Trump should just give up if it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
bro, what the fuck?" Matt Walsh, that
Matt
guy,
Walsh, yeah, like Jesus
bro,
Christ,
that
dude.
arc crashed and burned.
The
Forget it.
grifters are fucking coming out of the woodwork. But
Bro.
Murray's saying in the chat that Kirkland and Ellis is who defended Epstein back when he got the plea deal too. And I said it as good as you typed it there, Murray.
Well,
Very
I guess that tells you
articulate.
everything you need to know about them.
Yeah, but they're backing out. They won't represent the Secretary of State, so they know shit's coming down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Really?
There's got to be something going on. It can't be like that. And Trump's just pretending like nothing's happening. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna play golf."
Because they
You
got-
know what?
Right,
His-
because in the
his-
thing,
we
the
lowered
thing
drug
is,
prices, you know.
his
Here's
attorneys-
probably what's
his
going on.
attorneys his attorneys told him to keep his fucking mouth shut. That's what happened.
Yep. Well, they got yeah, but here's probably what's going on. When you have a case, you have to submit your evidence to the court in order for it to be admissible, and then the other side gets a chance to look at it. It's called discovery.
That's right.
So during the discovery process, that would probably happened yesterday, and that's why Dominion was all of a sudden, oh no, we're not coming to testify, and they're all fucking deleting their social media accounts. All of a sudden,
Yep.
Kirkland and Ellis is backing out because they saw the evidence, and they're like, oh
Holy
shit. You know? Especially a high profile case like this, if they wouldn't be backing out if they thought, if they weren't sure they were going to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'd be more cocky, you know.
Right.
Did you see
It's a
Pelosi
career
trot out
maker.
that poster that said, "Oh, we still won because we got more votes in the popular vote, even though we
This
lost
case,
seats."
this case is a career maker or break. It's one or the
Yeah.
other.
And remember the FEC chairman came out today and sided with Sidney Powell and said that she's got the evidence.
Yep.
So here
Now
we
Can you
this-
go.
repeat that? Can you repeat
The-
that one more time?
The federal election chairman, he said that he believes Sidney Powell's evidence,
Oh, boy.
and that there was widespread voter fraud. Now he said, now he doesn't decide who wins the election. This is more the guy that's involved with the finances of the election. but he is the highest authority figure in the election.
Yep, I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, because like when they were saying before, they were had that whatever woman that was lower officer, and they're like, "Oh, election official says blah blah blah. There's no evidence." Da 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 da. But the head of the FEC was like, "No, this looks
No.
really very fraudulent."
Not at all. Yeah, it's like it's not what you think, you know.
Yeah, but they found some lower level officer or whatever in there that would say what they wanted him to say, well, wanted her to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and she's this deep state clone that's been there since the second Bush administration.
Bro, but
yeah,
can we please get better optics than Giuliani? They can't try to chat out there too, you know. This guy's like sweating, like black paint over his face. Like, come on, bro. It's
right.
like, dude.
Yes. Okay. So he was sweaty. He's old, but you guys got to realize that in the Northeast, Giuliani is a king.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, look at his prosecution record. If I'm not mistaken, he never lost a case.
Bro. Jesus.
I didn't know that, but I did
That
know
dude-
that he's revered as the best mayor New York ever had.
Right, and he
Yeah.
is an absolute.
because he did. He fucking cleaned the
brutal
shit
prosecutor.
out of fucking New York.
He is a brutal prosecutor. Dude
Yeah.
was ruthless.
That's how he got elected mayor and cleaned
That's right.
up New York like nobody's business.
And
I mean,
he did it
it's
real
gone to
easy.
shit again,
he told the cops, "You do what you got to do. You'll get no trouble from us."
Yeah. Yep.
They went out and cracked skulls.
And New York went from one of the most dangerous cities in America, in the world probably, to
Over
fucking
5,000 homicides a year.
yeah, to fucking safe. You could walk through alleys, no problem, all kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah.
400, 450 murders a year?
Yeah,
Down from 5,000?
yeah. Like
I know
90%
people
reduction.
out west don't really get him, and you know they might be a little repulsed by him. But personally, I think he's overall good optics because of just who he is, and
He's just got that New York attitude,
Yeah.
Italian New York attitude at that, you know.
And there's also the 9/11, him being mayor. They even called him America's mayor.
Yep, they did.
Yeah, remember when they threw out that first pitch? It was like, oh yeah, New York, everybody.
Well, I get it. You know, in the last 19 years, people kind of changed about 9/11. It's kind of done, dead. And, God. Not for New Yorkers. Not for the East Coast. They, like you were saying, they really revere him.
yeah,
Dude, I hate that guy, like Poso, whatever that guy's name is. He was yelling about, I have bombshell, news coming out, and they never came out with shit. Like we're still waiting.
who are you talking about?
Jack Posaic or whatever, the guy from OAN.
Yeah.
That every day he was like, I have seen evidence. If you want to come down and look at it with me, it's incredible. He sounds like Adam Schiff. He sounds like Adam Schiff when he was talking about Russia, It's like, dude, if you have something, just say what it is. We don't need a
true.
teaser for 5 days.
Well, how you gonna make those shekis if you don't tease it out?
Get them
You
clicks,
can't give it all away at once, bro.
That dopamine.
Remember the other one that did that? The young woman? Oh, the Bin Laden raid and that lasted like 2 days. Where that guy, the CIA guy, or he wasn't CIA, but he was a falconer, and he had the big long beard. He was a Sikh, and he's like, yeah, I used to hang out with Bin Laden and all them people because he's a falconer, and falconing in our culture, that's what you do, especially if you got money. A lot of money. And so he would be in these circles because he would train falcons, and they would rich Arabs would buy them off of him, want to hang out with them, and they'd talk about falcon. And he came out with this story with this quote evidence and transcripts and audio recordings of him discussing with Congressman, I think it was Weldon, and they were discussing about how Biden was involved in SEAL Team 6 deaths, and how the Bin Laden raid was the guy that was all arranged between Iran and the U.S. And Iran snatched the real Bin Laden out at the last minute, put in a double, and that's who was killed. And that the real Bin Laden would still be in Iran for all he knows. He doesn't know what he said. Oh, we're going to release all this evidence. I got it on thumb drives. I got it on this. I got it on... And then
nothing.
it just disappeared. Yeah. Boom. It was gone.
Memorable.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Julian Assange. Remember, like the first 6 months after his big leak in 2016, it was just like he was constantly saying, "Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow," and then like slowly just it stopped being tomorrow, and
He just started talking about something else.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Jack Posobiec on Roseanne's podcast, and he was holding up a thumb drive, bragging about how it had Hunter Biden's laptop on it, and we were supposed to be getting like basically evidence of
like
child
mass
porn.
racketeering, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
Money
there
laundering.
was all that stuff coming out about the.
All we got were dick pics.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think that's because they gave it to the Senate, because all the stuff in the Senate is coming out
Man.
right now.
They're mocking us, bro. They're mocking us. What are you talking about?
No, I mean it was just came out like today. They're talking about it, but the media is not really covering it, and with everything else going on,
Yeah.
right.
you know.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Okay, good.
How was your sandwich and your jalapeno poppers?
That was like... What?
That was the last time I talked to you, you were dipping out to go get a sandwich, some jalapeno poppers, and screaming
Wasn't
about
that like
nuking the
last
world.
night? Oh, yeah. That was no,
God
I got
damn,
pizza
bro.
instead. I got
Yeah,
pizza
by
and
the-
mac and cheese.
By the way, Johnny
Yeah.
Cahill's new nickname is Juke Nukem.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Charles Grassley and Ron Johnson put out a report showing further close financial and operational ties between Hunter Biden and Chinese tycoon linked to the Communist Party.
Yep.
Speaking of which, can I ask you something about that? What do you guys think of that Gao or Go or whatever, the takedown CCP guy? What's up with that guy? Is he legit? Is he what the hell?
What was that?
It's like a Chinese Alex Jones or something like that.
Yeah, like the guy.
Oh, that guy.
He's on the boat and he's like
He's like-
wearing the sharp outfits and he's
Yeah.
like, "We're going to take down CCP," and like the dude's like,
Bro,
he's
you
all
can't make
lit,
this
man.
shit up, bro.
Yeah, he's
can't-
up there
You
flashing
can't make
signs.
this shit up,
and-
bro. Somebody's
he's
gonna
out
be
there-
rich writing about this shit someday.
Oh, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, but the song's hilarious, but
Oh hell yeah!
very memeable, you know. But
And then it's dick pics, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. Bro, it's like they tortured us, man. You remember the TL at that time? It was like, oh my god. So people started saying, bro, don't repost it. That's it. Stop posting it.
Oh man, and the thing that got me about the whole Biden thing that was the niece, you know.
Bro,
the
that's
Jewish
some
niece.
crazy,
I was like,
diabolical
"Ooh,
shit, bro.
man, that's just wrong. And he was banging her mom too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bro, that's crazy.
it's just I don't even like talking about it or thinking nothing. It's just so nasty.
Yep. But that's what they want to normalize, you know?
That was
Yeah.
proven.
Well, proven in it that there were conversations between him and the mom, and him saying that she's uncomfortable with him being around her daughter and this and that.
Yeah, there was a
because
text exchange.
Yeah, I make her uncomfortable because I behave inappropriately towards her. And this.
And then they trotted out Giuliani
And
with a
then-
giant board with the
Did you-
text on it.
Did
Remember
you
that?
see the leaked photo? There was a Chinese website because the Chinese
Yep.
have the too, and they showed him banging one of Obama's daughters.
Yep. Although I heard the picture of the cocaine and the credit card was an old picture that somebody
Yeah, that
put
is an
together
old
with that.
picture.
So
Oh,
they said
is
that
it?
that was fake.
Okay.
The credit
so
card
maybe,
thing was fake.
So
But
maybe
that black girl, hey, you know.
Yeah, and that was, I think, the tie that they said.
And
that
then
this
they had
could
the
be-
picture of the face of a dog between some guy's legs, and it was the same dog Obama was holding, a little white dog. So that's
Really?
why they were, yeah. So that's why they said it was Obama's
Oh.
place that they were doing this shit in.
Because I didn't know about the dog, but I knew that they had the ID, her credit card.
No. There's a picture of the two people in bed, and between the legs, like they're on the bed, is the little head of a white dog. And then they show a picture of Obama carrying the dog in the steps of the White House, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. Yikes. This is really stupid, probably, but I think those are really Obama's kids.
No, they belong to
No.
other people. They show the picture. They look exactly like them. Besides, Big Mike. How's he gonna?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Mike, right.
How's
I
Big Mike?
posted that video before.
Obama
yeah, but-
can't get pregnant, you know?
I mean, yeah. When I first heard about that, I was like, "Oh, come on, I don't believe that." But
Yeah,
man, the more it goes, it's just no. That's.
Bro, have you seen the pictures lately? She's got
It's a trap.
shoulders like she's got these shoulders and
that's the
triceps.
nigga.
Bro.
She got bigger shoulders than most men I know, man.
Yeah,
Like,
there was a picture
Yeah,
of them
dude.
walking into the Oval Room, and she's got a shoulderless dress, and Obama's next to her, and her shoulders are like twice as big and like ripped. Yeah, wow,
That's why they call him Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Big
But
Mike.
yeah, Jacob, I was the same. At first, I was like, come on, like, that's bullshit. But yeah, as time goes on, I'm like, yeah, that's
Especially
the nigga.
seeing the
Well-
old pictures with fucking.
It's confirmed he was gay in college.
Yeah, and can see
Yeah,
the
hey,
old
but what
pictures
about-
from
are
when they were
those-
in
yeah.
college.
Are those pictures
Yeah.
And you
real?
had the dude that looks just like Mikey there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
Are
that just
those
the other
real?
day.
I'm pretty.
I don't know.
I mean,
The college pictures
the
are
old
real.
pictures, yeah.
Yeah, those are real.
Bro, then it's confirmed, bro.
Yeah, that's. I think that's really what sealed
That's
the deal
fucking big.
for
That
me.
was Big Mike in those pictures. Come
I think
on.
that's really what
Yeah,
sealed
even
the
more,
deal for
even
me.
more than like the pics of him like adjusting his dick. You know, like
Yeah.
those old ones.
yeah,
the
bro.
ones that made you go, dude, that's
Bro,
yeah.
and
okay,
what
that is
about-
a dick.
Hey,
That's
I
a
know Tucker's cucked, but it was pretty funny that bit that he did that Obama did a 29-hour reading of his autobiography. You know?
Hey, please don't do end towers in the fucking YouTube chat. Try to keep the YouTube channel as long as possible.
All right. Guilty.
We're probably already on borrowed time after fucking
Last
Yeah.
after last
Well, I
night.
mean, just go to the live. You can post all this end sticker you want. I mean, you get a letter, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good deal.
yeah.
It's a good sticker.
It's good. It's a good sticker.
It's one of my favorites, honestly. It's great.
And you get away with a lot more on D Live than you can on YouTube for sure.
What about riggers?
Riggers
What?
is fine.
Why would
Yeah.
Why would Obama hide that? Like, I mean, weren't the I was overseas. Weren't the gays and all? Wasn't that like a big movement? I mean, it
No,
seems like
when
that-
Obama took office, like
No way.
when Obama took
different.
office, gay marriage was like still questionable.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he had voted against it, right? At one point.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. He even had
Yeah.
a speech where
Yeah, I
they
mean-
play the speech, and you think he's like in
And also-
2020. You know?
Yeah, and I don't think that I mean, voting for, a black president, the first black president is one thing, but voting for a first black gay president, I think that's a pill that a lot of people would not
That would have been a
swallowed.
little too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
especially
Bro,
at
but
He
what
church.
would
he
happen-
would lose the entire
A little-
black vote. He
A
wouldn't
little
have the
too
black
on the
vote.
nose. Yeah, that's very true
he would-
also, yeah.
No.
There is
Johnny
no
is-
bigger group
What
of,
would-
of homophobes than
Right there.
African Americans.
What do
Really?
you think? What do you think the reaction? What do you think the reaction would be if they found out through this Dominion BS, which if it's true, it's true, whatever. Also, crowned that election back then. How do you think people will feel?
Well, it wasn't
Feel
around
pretty
back
fucking
then.
stupid.
I mean, as far as all we know is that that software was developed in 2010 for Venezuela. That's the story we're being told anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it may have been used in the 2012 election, but like honestly, does anybody think that Romney was going to beat Obama?
Oh no.
Oh, Romney sucks so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I hated him before fucking.
Who was the guy that was attacked because he was a Mormon? Was it that guy?
That's Romney.
That's it.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. The fucking methadone Mormon himself.
Methadone Mormon himself.
Methadone
exactly.
Mormon. What's the
Yeah, he
methadone?
owns a bunch of like methadone clinics out in what is it, Utah, Wyoming?
Well, yeah, that area. I think Salt Lake City is where most of them are.
Right.
He
that's
saved,
okay.
he saved the Olympics, guys. He saved the Olympics.
He saved them. Right?
Thank you.
Right after Al
Hey, I
Gore
gotta-
invented the internet. Wasn't that Al Gore?
Yeah, is that
That's right.
true?
Bro, we have the best politicians.
Well, he helped. Yeah, Al Gore was tasked with creating a communications network to be used in the event of a nuclear war, and pretty much most of our other communications are down. That's what the internet was originally supposed to be.
Right in the
It's supposed
1960s.
to be like a way for yeah.
Isn't it the-
So he
isn't it
did
the-
invent the internet then.
No,
No,
he didn't
he-
invent
It
DARPANET.
was like 12.
He didn't-
Hey guys, I gotta dip out. I just wanted to pop in for a minute and say what's up. And also, I'm doing my Super 70s Saturday stream tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at zsteve1, and you can get the links there. But it's going to be at cozybroadcast.network. We're doing 1970 all French movies actually, and
Ooh la la.
not like
Okay.
lame French movies. They're actually really good ones. We got
Oh,
the Red Circle. We got the Confession. That's about communism. We've got The Things of Life. It's about a guy whose life flashes before his eyes before he gets in a car crash. And what's the other one? We got The Horse. It's a vigilante movie that's just totally badass.
Yeah.
So
Subtitles.
So if they're
I-
from 1970 and they're French movies, do they have titties?
yes,
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat so we can
Are
send it
they,
out.
Are
All
they
right, for sure.
are they subtitled?
yeah, they're subtitled.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, dubs are actually harder to find these days. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I
good
could imagine.
talking to you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Take it
Yeah,
easy,
thanks
man.
for popping in, Steve.
take it easy.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
I think they used to mostly like produce dubs for to air on television.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So if they're dubbed, there's probably not titties.
Yes.
That's yeah.
yeah,
It's
ain't
a trade-off.
No American
it's a trade-off
public is
there
gonna
that you got to
read,
deal with.
Ain't no American
BRB.
public gonna read subtitles. They
And titties weren't allowed on TV, so.
no. They are now, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. So
I
it's
don't
pussy.
even know. It's been so long since I've.
No, not on network television.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
on
not
network.
network
No, no,
television.
no,
You can't be watching like House Hunters and some,
No,
Joe Pops or yeah.
No, hold on. No, under Obama, there was a reversal of an FCC rule that governed vulgarity and things of this nature. I know they can swear now and they can show butts, and I mean, there was a big deal because there was that She show. They showed that guy's ass, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" You know, and
Oh yeah, the detective, the fat guy.
right. And then a few years later, under Obama or whatever, how they had rescinded some law, I don't know if the law, but a regulation or whatever it was that governed what they could show on. And I know now they can curse, like they can say shit and stuff. I don't know if they can drop F-bomb, but they can get away with a lot more. I haven't owned a TV since like '89, but they this is what I remember reading. You'd have to look it up, or I would, or whatever. But I know that they had changed it so they could basically make it.
Yeah, I think that you
Great.
can say fuck on like cable now as long as you don't say motherfucker. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
I think
Stupid.
cable always kind of
South Park
police
really stretched
themselves
it.
on it. Yeah, South Park. South Park was
Yeah,
really
they paved the way.
because they did the shit
Absolutely.
episode with the shit counter.
First.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they played the movie unedited.
yeah, yeah. That was their big claim to fame there, actually. at the
Those were
time.
great. I love those
Pretty-
movies.
Yeah.
Pretty degenerate, but you know, whatever.
Operation
I'm not a
Get
big
Behind
fan.
Blackie. You remember that?
Although Cartman
I feel like
always used to crack.
South Park is like this kind of the same as like Ali G or like Borat type shit, you know, where it's
Yeah.
like it's funny, but then you realize that you're the one being made fun of.
That's right.
Like they're making fun of us. They're making fun of anybody.
That's what
Well,
Cartman is.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yep.
what Cartman is.
on South Park, they literally make fun of everything. So,
That's true. Yeah.
right.
They like Hillary, or they used to. Remember that? Putting the thing in her cooch, the nuclear weapon or whatever, and all that.
The Simpsons
mean-
cucked though.
Because the Hillary Trump campaign, that's when they had the whole series of fucking, what was it, giant douche versus turd sandwich? So
That was
Yeah.
Bush and Gore. That was Bush and Gore, the giant douche in the third sandwich. Bush Gore.
All right. Well, they did it for Trump and Hillary too, because right? Because didn't Mr. Garrison end up running by accident or some shit?
Yeah.
I just remember the episode where he's like, they're in the whole world's collapsing around them, right? They're trying to escape, and Cartman and Kyle are the last ones in there, and Kyle turns around to escape, and Cartman's standing there with a knife, and he's like, "Hand over the gold." Kyle's like, "What?"
Oh
What are you talking
yeah, yeah.
He's like, "Hand over the gold around your neck." He's like, "I know every Jew carries a bag of gold."
Yeah.
oh
Oh yeah, bro, that shit was awesome.
Yeah,
He's like,
you ain't
okay,
getting
I'll
outta
show
here.
it to you.
He's like, "You ain't getting out of here with that gold, kid." Oh,
And the funny thing is, he actually has it.
he does, and he goes, "I know every Jew carries a fake bag of gold around their neck," and it turns out he did.
the fake one, the decoy.
Yeah. Yeah. They do go after.
Guy,
At least
the
they used
ADL
to.
speech. Fuck that guy.
They used to go after the Jews quite a bit on that show. At the
Yep.
Barbra Streisand, the Mecca Streisand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about the two guys. Seems like you have to be Jewish to get
Oh,
away
South Park. Yeah. One of them's Jewish.
One of them's Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
with. Okay. That would explain their get out of jail free card.
Because Stan and Kyle are like basically the them characters. Was the original
okay.
idea.
I didn't-
So
Yeah, didn't it start about Jesus fighting Santa Claus? Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was something like that. And then they got in trouble.
Yeah,
because
they
they had
got-
Muhammad.
Yeah, they hired.
Yeah.
They were hired to do like a Christmas card, and that's what they came up with, and that's where
Yeah,
the show
yeah.
began.
Yeah.
And I remember that back in college when that came out, the only way to get it was like people would pass it around on VHS tapes.
Yep.
It was- yeah.
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
can't believe that show's still going. What is that? 25 years now.
It's been a long time, yeah. But they stay
23,
relevant.
yeah, since 97.
But they stay
Wow.
relevant, and actually, that was the big thing when they moved to. Well, I think it was the second season because the first season, or the first couple seasons, they did it where they just did the cutouts and would like basically stop motion. But then they started computer animating it so they could do it really fast.
I said they could churn out a show in a week.
Right.
Really?
So then that was the big thing is they could stay really relevant because whatever was in the news that week, they'd make fun of it.
Yep.
Wow, that's quick.
How do you think they came up so fast with the Chinese LeBron thing when the whole thing was happening with Free Hong Kong? They turned around in like 5 days. The show was out already criticizing them for the quote.
I have no idea. The last thing I remember about South Park was sometime in the era of the Jennifer Lopez thing. You know?
It's
been a long time.
That one was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jennifer Lopez.
I'm Jennifer Lopez.
Like tacos and burritos. And then and then the end just killed me, man. It's like fit my sense of humor perfectly. He's like, I know you're faking it. Stop it.
Thought
He's
you
like,
didn't have
"Fine."
a sense of humor.
And he's okay. He caught me. But and he says, fine. It's not Jennifer Lopez. Okay, fine. I'm Mitch Connell. And he like totally changed it. He's like, I've been undercover for years, and he just keeps going.
Yeah.
Crack me up.
Good.
My favorite South Park one though was and it's an old one, was the Okama Game Sphere.
I remember that one. Yeah.
They just want to play video games, and they get tossed on this crazy adventure with aliens and all. And the Towel guy is in it.
Towley. Yeah.
Cowley.
Yeah.
Oh, Towel. Remember the ones about how the space Jews are running Earth as like a space version of a reality show?
Really? I missed that one.
Yeah, the big nose space Jew aliens. Yeah,
Talk
that's an
about
older
naming
one.
them. God damn.
Oh,
I gotta look
the
that
one
one
that's
up.
like the one that's clearly supposed to be like the Weinsteins.
Really?
Yeah.
I
You know
got
what you're
this.
talking about? And they start
Yeah.
like doing coke and sucking each other's like weird shoulder dicks. Is that the same one?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, those are totally. I didn't realize it until the Me Too shit happened. I was like, oh, holy fuck, that old South Park. Those are the Weinstein brothers.
Wow.
Which is kind of fucked because you're like, oh man, I mean, it is true that everyone in fucking show business knew about this shit.
How could they
And
not?
I mean, as far as like doing anything about it, I mean, people would make jokes, but that's as far as. And I'm not saying like I expect them to like fucking turn him in or whatever, but it's just like I don't know. It's remarkable how many people were aware and just kind of like I don't know, accepted it.
Yeah.
Yep, just memory hold.
Oh, right in my
related to
memory
this,
hole.
What do you guys buy that what is it, Corey Feldman? Do you think that serious, or is he just
That guy got molested to shit, but instead of
Okay.
actually doing something, he's just trying to fucking grift off of it now. It's
Okay,
pretty
that's
disgusting.
kinda- yeah, that's the
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I
impression
see it.
Wow, because he's
Yeah.
told some horror stories about his buddy there, Hayne, right? Corey
Oh,
Haim.
yeah.
Oh, but he's dead, so of course he can say whatever, right? And it's no
Yeah, which
way
kind
to
of is like even more disgusting. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fucked up.
trampling on the dude.
Right,
It's
you
not
know-
the best.
Macaulay Culkin will fucking degenerate. I
I
imagine.
mean, look what they did to him.
Yeah, I've often wondered about asking like some of the red letter media guys, like, you guys ever talk about any of that kind of stuff? Like, what? I mean,
Does he ever have like episodes? Like, does
yeah.
he, like night terror type shit where he just starts like freaking out? I like him on Red Letter Media, despite how like I don't know, that whole thing is kind of like in the back of my mind every time I see him. You know what I mean?
Same thing here. Yeah, I mean, and he dresses. He's very weird. I mean, you could tell it messed him up.
Oh yeah.
Weird makeup and nail polishes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least he's not like Amanda Bynes. You know what I mean? He seems to be functional. He's got like a fairly successful podcast, I think.
Yeah, and he's got a
For
sense
show,
of
he does
humor
something.
still. Yeah.
Yeah.
So related to that, because I think he was related to this. What's your guys' take on Jackson? Was he actually a diddler? Or was he
No, I don't think so. I
I think he
I
was
don't believe
molested
it.
as a kid, though.
It
I
could
think
be,
fucking
but
yeah,
I
molested as a
think
kid,
that
though.
guy got beat the shit out of all his childhood, and when he
Yeah.
grew up, all he wanted to be was a child again.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I don't
see that.
think. I don't
Regressing.
think it was.
Yeah. like a regression thing.
Yeah, like, hey,
Yeah,
what would you do with fuck you money? If you had fuck you money, what would you do? I'll be doing some childish shit too. I'll be riding a giraffe and
Well,
shit.
and he
Like-
surrounded
Thing.
himself with kids because they couldn't hurt him, right? They couldn't.
Exactly. I don't think
That and like also I've read that a lot of people who get molested, or even kids who like teenagers who never go through any sort of sexual rite of passage at all, they end up kind of like staying in that sort of mindset. Like they have trouble maturing mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I think that might have something to do with. I mean, this might sound crazy, but I think a lot of like religious, a lot of like priests and stuff, the ones who end up diddling, I think that has something to do with it. The like celibate
they're
ones.
part of the
fucks
fucking
them up.
those globalists. Fucking the Pope right now is
too.
not where he needs to be. You know.
Where does he
Yeah.
need to be?
In jail.
Racing all over the world.
ground.
I was hoping
Yeah.
you'd say in hell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of problems
hell.
with the Pope we got these days. Say what
Yeah.
you will.
Jesuit.
Gay marriage is okay. Yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, that's
Is-
where I
is-
was going to start.
Yeah,
was
sure.
with he's
Yeah.
a Jesuit, so he
Okay, I
shouldn't
just wanted-
be Pope at
that's-
all.
Yeah, I was asking more than telling. I wasn't totally positive. So he is a Jesuit.
Yeah. He is a Jesuit,
Okay,
so
well, apparently, fuck. I have to find a new place to park because they don't have any fucking spaces available here. God damn it.
damn it all to hell.
Are you got a trailer with you too?
Yeah, because like I just got a reserved spot, and now I just remembered to fucking pay for it. And now it's telling me they don't have any spaces available. Son of a bitch! I'm gonna go get some beer inside, and then I'm gonna drive over to the Swift terminal and park there. Fucking bullshit.
Sounds gay.
Fucking
Oh, yeah,
Albuquerque, I fucking hate it here.
Why do they always make truckers' lives miserable, man? If it wasn't for you guys, man, we'd be dead. We're maybe not dead, but a lot of people would.
Yeah, do you think anyone fucking cares? Nobody gives a shit because no one thinks about us. No one ever fucking stops to ask, like, oh, I wonder how these fucking strawberries got here when strawberries haven't been in fucking season for like 3 months.
Hey,
It's because of
I
fucking truck drivers.
appreciate it. I've been
Thank
worked
you.
in restaurants forever, and I have to appreciate truckers because I deal with them like twice a week.
I always wave at.
Thank you.
I
You're
do.
welcome.
I really do. I honestly, I wave at. They pass me. A lot of times.
It makes
Actually,
me
yeah,
miss
so
my
many
old
people-
job. I had a good relationship with the guys who delivered food to my old steakhouse.
My dad was a
Yeah.
trucker, so
I always
definitely
give them the
anti-trucker.
right of way and stuff. It's they're out there all the
Which you
time
should do.
busting their balls. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're
Exactly.
we're out on the road. We're out on the road because we're working.
That's
Most
right.
people out in their car, they're not working. They're not there. They're
No,
Oh yeah,
going
for
to and
sure.
from work. We're out on the road is our job. So when you guys, when someone else gets in front of us and slows us down, and doesn't care, or they don't let us over because we're about to miss our exit, or we're about to have to take an exit we weren't supposed to because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
I have to get off on Martin Luther King Jr.
You are
Boulevard.
getting in the way of us doing. Yeah, you're getting in the way of us doing our fucking job, and you're being an asshole.
absolutely.
All right, so
Oh yeah, that's right. Murray brings something up. I forgot about that. Jackson, he was critical of the Jays.
He was.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
He
yep.
was. That's why I asked if it was
EST.
a setup. That's why I asked if
Yep.
it was a setup.
Oh, and
That
getting
makes
back
sense
to
now.
listen, every time I drive to Disney or wherever we go, 4 hours on the road with my 9-year-old son, every single trucker he does the horn thing, and they all
I used
and
to
they
do
all.
it too.
Oh my god, my kid
do that. I
loves
always
that
honk.
shit. My kid
Every time I
loves
see a
that.
kid do that, I've only seen one kid do that, and I immediately did it, and it always
Yeah.
makes me smile. When they
Oh
do
my
it.
god.
I used to do
that's
it
a
as
white
kid
pill.
all the time. Yeah, I used to love
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh, my kid loves it. Every time we're on the road, he does it, and we always get a honk. Always.
I did a lot of traveling with my grandpa as a kid. I mean, we went to all the states. I've been to every state except Hawaii. And I'd sit up front the whole time in camper or whatever, just doing that the whole time to semi-drivers, everyone we pass, doing the little
What do you-
thing.
What do you
Yeah, my
think?
dad used to take me on runs with. That was our father-son bonding moments. He'd take me
Oh,
on
that's
runs
nice.
with him and shit. So
What was the
And
most? What was the most beautiful place you visited in all the states in your mind?
um,
going from like say when you get out of Arizona, when you just pass Kingman, Arizona, and you're about to head towards the Hoover Dam, so you can get to Vegas. When you start seeing all the rock formations driving past Kingman,
That
on your way
is
to
a
Nevada,
cool drive
see,
there.
You see Lake Mead and like the Colorado River and these massive mountains, just humongous mountains and a giant river, and then you go over a bridge that's over the Hoover Dam because you don't drive on the dam itself.
Yep.
And then going into Vegas, that's always nice because it's like you'd think a desert would be boring, but just how barren and how massive this desert is in Nevada, it's huge, it's beautiful. Then you get on the 15 North, and then you go towards like to get to St. George, like getting to St. George and to Salt Lake sometimes.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was
you
going to
go
say.
through,
That stretch between
like,
Vegas and St. George there.
Yeah, it's at the
really
you
cool
drive
area
past the
there.
Virgin River. Yeah, you drive past the Virgin River, and then you go through the mountains, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
My answer is very similar. I lived in Arizona for years, and I love the drive when you get into towards Flagstaff, and then you go, what is that, 17 or 15, where you go south into Phoenix area.
Yeah, the
And-
17. The 17
Yeah.
will take you down into Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Beautiful.
Just
I
like
love
that.
that
I'm actually about to take that route. I'm on the 40
Oh,
West.
Okay,
in
yeah,
Albuquerque,
yeah.
And they're going to probably take me down to Flagstaff, and then Flagstaff
Yep.
down to Glendale, Arizona.
It's not a bad drive.
Yep. I used to drive that all the
Awesome.
time because I had family in Chicago and I lived in Arizona, and I drive back and forth. I'm not a big flyer, so I drive back and forth.
Matter of fact, one
I
time
made
I
it-
was
I wanna
driving
make
that
it-
drive. We were coming from Flagstaff. I think we went to Tucson first, but then we were headed back up to 40
Nice.
from Tucson. But like,
Nice.
but going east at the same time. And
Okay.
so we were somewhere in New Mexico on the side of the mountain there, basically. And a meteor came down into the valley, but like, so it shot past us like on the same altitude we were or whatever. So you could see it. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's gotta be insane. There's some crazy stuff. Like people always tell me, like, "Oh, where should I take vacation to?" And I always tell them, like, "Why don't you get to know the United States? Like, why do you have to go to France or Italy or all this? There's a lot
Yeah,
of
where all these
awesome,
black people have
awesome
fucking
places.
destroyed
Yeah?
all these fucking sounds. You know you're never gonna see a black person in rural areas and like fucking out in
Yeah.
the woods, out in the wilderness, because black people are fucking pussies sometimes. Most
Yeah,
of the time.
I used to work.
You know what the-
I don't
Depends.
think you have better luck in France right now.
Rural
I used to-
Georgia,
yeah.
rural South Carolina,
Yeah.
you'll see them.
You might get your head
I,
chopped off and you ain't got your gun out
Northern
there.
Arizona.
Rural
You know what?
Mississippi.
I'd like to say I want to make a correction when I said drive to St. George. I'd say the drive from Salt Lake City down through the 89 south, the 89, and it takes you through southern Utah, then through Kanab, Utah. Then you
Yeah.
drive past Glen Canyon, and the
Oh,
water
yeah,
in Glen
yeah.
Canyon's like bright blue. It's like bright
Yeah.
blue. And then you go through there, and then that'll take you down to Flagstaff and stuff.
That's
and
a fucking-
that's gorgeous.
That's a white pill right there. Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
work summers at Glacier National Park, and
Nice.
you're right. Like there was never any colors in there really, and it's just America has like all these different types of ecosystems or what have you. Got desert, you've got everything, forests,
Yeah.
and the beauty of this country is unparalleled. You can go to Egypt for the pyramids. You can go to France for the food, or the Eiffel Tower. You have to go to different countries. We have all of it and more in one country.
Yeah, I had somebody recommend the drive in California next to the water.
Pacific Coast Highway.
That's all right. It's actually okay. In a truck, not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No.
Like, go on, bro.
That would
My
not be a lot of
GPS,
fun. on
my,
the
my
truck.
company for some fucking reason thought it'd be a good idea. Let's send an 18-wheeler with a 48-foot with a 43-foot trailer, fully loaded, with the slandom slid all the way back. So this makes it even harder through Laguna Beach. These are roads not intended for trucks of these size. Trucks used to be much smaller when these roads were built.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now I'm trying to go about 45 miles an hour down this fucking road, and every time I make a turn, I'm either having to and there's cars next to me, not just normal cars, but like fucking Lamborghinis, Porsches and shit, Ferraris, and I'm trying to not swerve into their lane. So instead, I'm noticing that my trailer tires skip up onto the curb and shit, and it's just like it was nerve wracking,
Yeah.
fucking nerve wracking.
Yeah, but
Personally,
I can't
the
even
most-
imagine.
When you're on the I-5 South going to like San Diego, that one's fine. That one's nice. It's really nice that way.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember.
but you guys are awesome drivers.
at,
If you can back up a trailer, at 10 miles an
Right.
hour
No,
without
but
looking.
but
you can do it.
if you don't have space, you don't have space. You can only do so much.
I remember when I was at DLI, which is Defense Language Institute in Monterey. We get the weekends off, and like, oh, let's rent a car. We get these military discounts. We had a lot of benefits there. Like, I could go golf.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go inside and get some food and some drinks really quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
And we rented a Benz one weekend, a bunch of soldiers and I. It was like 3 of us. And we decided, well, we're going to go to San Francisco, and check it out. I was driving, right? I had never driven in San Francisco. I'd only been there briefly, mostly at the airport. And I discovered something called hills. And I thought, how the hell do people live here? Like, and I can't imagine when he's telling the story about driving his truck. Like, can you imagine driving a truck in there? Like, the hills are vertical. Like, I didn't even feel comfortable driving a car. Nuts. It's crazy. That's about probably the craziest bit of road I've been on. San Francisco. I could.
Yeah, San Francisco driving a truck would be like insane.
Yeah, I can't imagine driving a stick. I mean, you roll back with an automatic.
I've done it, but it's not fun.
Oh,
let me
have
tell
you? Wow.
Not a truck, but a stick, a manual.
In San Fran?
Yeah.
Wow. How long did your clutch last?
I mean,
Or your handbrake.
I didn't
Right.
do it on a regular basis. Like, I wasn't living there, but
I
driving a stick. But
man,
always had automatic when I lived there. But
I didn't even like walking up those fucking hills, man.
No.
Jeez.
Well. But my favorite place, or most beautiful place to me in the country, in the United States, is like the Smoky Mountains and the Blue Ridges.
Oh yeah.
Are fucking awesome.
We haven't even gotten into Hawaii, so.
I've never been to Hawaii, so
I've never been to Hawaii
comment on it.
Me neither, but that shit must be awesome,
Hawaii doesn't count though, because it's not even. We'll say the continental United States.
Yeah, that area, West Virginia, the Carolinas,
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, that area is absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah,
You ever gone up?
I would have to agree.
You ever gone up the Blue Ridge Parkway?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fucking gorgeous up there.
Yeah, it is. You can see why they call it. They wrote so many songs about why it's just it's a beautiful area. This country, it really is. It's beautiful, And I've told friends too that just didn't travel as much. Like, you got to go up to New York. 99% of New York is nothing. It's rural. It's woods.
Yeah, upstate New York is really nice.
Yeah.
Like around the Finger
Yeah, you
Lakes
just-
and stuff.
Oh yeah, the Pedo Lakes. Yeah.
Yep.
Very. And it's everybody just thinks of Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's not just an idea, right? Like Charlie Kirk said, that we can put the paper anywhere and it's America. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. It's just an idea, bro.
It's so stupid. It's like when the Jews started calling it the Constitution a living, breathing document. Now you better hold up. That thing's written in stone, brother.
Yeah, it's not growing or shrinking,
Yeah, you just change it on a whim with the times. It was written. That's the way it is. There's a process to change it. It's quite a laborious process.
Yep, hope it survives.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It better.
That's for sure.
There's no other place to go, guys. I've been to other countries.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I said the same thing, like, to talking to a buddy. I said, look, man, whether you like Trump or not, he has to win. It's if Trump he's whatever hope he might be small or whatever, he is the only hope for a human being other than God that we have. If Trump doesn't get in there, this election shit ain't getting fixed. Nobody's ever gonna trust this process. Or
Nobody would vote.
Yeah.
It's done. The whole like backbone of our country done. It's gone.
And then for one day, no reason at all.
Right. So Trump has to win. I'm not saying that means he's even going to do anything about it. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. It's hope, but if he doesn't, there is no hope. Other than it's just going to be that, or you got to use other means, and that's not going to be.
Yeah. He better stay no matter what, whether they give it to him or not, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, how would that even work? Like, who would remove him? Capitol Police?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And the Secret Service? Where would they stand? Like, would the Secret Service not allow them in? Like, how that would work?
It would be. It's
has
gonna be
ever
crazy.
Happened?
No, it's
Has
never
that ever
happened.
Wasn't it the park ranger that would get him out?
The park ranger. Fuck the ranger, boo boo.
With some of the best snipers in the world hanging out on the rooftop. Yeah,
Hell yeah. That's some Call of Duty bullshit,
Yeah, that would be
you got a
Mission
lot
Impossible shit there.
Yeah, if you've been to the White House, you got a lot of front lawn to get. They got a lot of time to take you down.
And call them the A-team and that shit.
Plus 80 million people armed to the teeth, that's gonna be an issue.
Well, if conservatives don't do what they normally do, which is cuck out.
Dude, even if 1% of 1% of people do it, that's 100,000 people.
That's just it.
That's
why they're making.
People, and that's a lot of weapons,
That's just it. That's why they're making their move now, because
right.
They've been demoralized and people lost faith in the system. By the end of Obama, pretty much nobody had any faith in the system. That's really where Trump comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this is our last gasp at it. You know what I mean? And
do you think that they
bringing an outsider into that situation? Yeah.
Now,
a perceived outsider, I would say, because I don't think I can really call Trump an outsider.
I heard he worked with the CIA.
Was Trump picked, or was this accidental? Did they actually think he would win, or did he sneak in something?
Well, depends on what you mean.
I think he got in really running, but they never thought that he was going to go through with all the shit that he's gone through. They thought they could break him once he got in.
I understand that they have pretty much unlimited money, but would Adelson throw tens and tens of millions at him if just maybe to placate, he gave him some things. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hopeful, but it just it's kind of confusing, Or are we just being? Is this all just a show? Are we being played 100%? I don't know.
Yeah, there's two camps. There's a camp that Zildom, he betrayed us, and then the other camp is like, I'll die for my president, So. We need all hands on deck, so I don't care what you believe, whatever. I just need this guy to win. Then after that, we can separate and,
Right.
Yeah, and I think that even if, he loses, or even if they, pull this shit off somehow, the amount of, disillusionment, the amount of people who have lost faith in this two-party system, I think we're going to have some opportunities for something positive to be born out of this.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't mean that it has to be negative,
Right. Because I know I see a lot of people say, a third party, whatever, but I think even beyond that, a new, I don't know, something beyond the two-party system, because half the country has to see at this point that it's all bullshit.
Throughout history, the pendulum swings both ways, So they've taken it so far this way that the further you take it, the harder it swings. So it's gonna go back the other way big time, because boomers are going back into cocoon,
The pendulum itself swinging back and forth in only two directions is also like a part of the problem. You know what I mean?
Well,
you guys
yeah, because
seen
this
that-
wasn't supposed to
Only
be.
if you lose. Yeah.
America was not designed to be a two-party system. It was
Right.
actually specifically designed not to be a two-party system, even though it pretty much has been forever. You know what I mean?
And one party under APAC.
Have you
Don't
guys
forget.
seen that guy who did this? He did a book and he did all this research. And what he did was he studied history. I think it was the last 500 years. And what he found was like there was a cycle that repeated, and it was based.
Oh,
on
Spengler.
Spe-
You're talking
yeah,
about Spengler, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is
okay.
there?
Sorry,
what do you
go
think of that? No. What do you?
Decline of the West.
Right, we're in this phase now where the generations are so removed from struggle and from patriotism. They've had it easy, and so we kind of have to go through this cycle to get back. And like the next generation is going to see all this horror show, and they're going to be more conservative and more patriotic, and that's when it swings. Is there any? Do you guys put any stock in? You guys?
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's
culture.
kind of hard. It's kind of hard to disagree with him. I mean, from what I've seen, he was like a bit pessimistic, but it's kind of hard not to be.
Yeah, it's
I think he
looking
said
at
it was
facts,
like-
you know.
I think he was saying like 2040 or 2050 it would swing back the other way. So like I think he was basically saying he had another 20 or 30 years of some rough shit.
Yeah, I mean, every generation has the rebels. So
Come back.
before the rebels were like, oh, you know, we want to listen to our rock and roll music and curse and rap and this and that, you know. So it has to swing the other way. Now the counter revolution is people going against what's normally, you know, because now you can't even I can't even play a video game without rap music, you know. When before it was like few and far betweens. You know, you would hear like a rap music in a commercial, but now it's like in everything.
Well, and
Oh,
that was
yeah, right.
artificially applied starting in the 50s. They came up with the term teenager to, like, I've talked about this before a little bit, but they created the term teenager to create the generational gap so that, like, each generation is its own. They could
Counter.
tailor make the fucking. But that way you're not
So-
getting the wisdom of your elders the way it
Right.
used to and stuff.
Yeah, you
So
cut
is
the
that,
you cut the
I got a
umbilical
question.
cord.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Oh, I got a question. So is that where the whole thing with boomers and Gen X and that all started in the 50s?
Yeah.
Like labeling. Okay.
Yeah. It started with the boomers were the first generation that they did that with, you know?
Mhm.
Well, I don't think they called them boomer. They called them baby. Oh yeah, like the hoop.
Yeah, they
boomer,
did. They called them
boomer,
baby
doomer.
boomers. That's how the whole generation
No, they called
thing
them baby.
started.
No, they didn't. They didn't shoot. They didn't shorten it to boomer. The whole boomer,
Oh, no.
doomer, coomer, and consumer, and fucking.
Bro, they called them
Boomer and
boomers at
shit
least
like
in
that.
the
That's all new.
80s. They called them
I mean,
boomers at
They
least
didn't have
in the 80s.
doomers.
Like,
They didn't have.
No, that
No,
came later.
that's new.
That came later.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I'm talking about.
myself. I'm just missed being a baby boomer myself. You know, so I'm pretty aware of what they called them, but you know, I understand it's a baby boomer. It's just short. But when did Gen X started? 67, something like that. So I was 73, so I only missed it by about 6 years. I would have been considered a baby.
Yeah, that's what Mary's talking about, the fourth turning with the generational theories. But
Oh,
they didn't.
that's what I was talking. Yeah. So what do you guys think of that? That's what it was. Fourth turn.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, I think it's kind of artificially applied, or at
can see
least
it.
artificially, maybe not artificially applied, like it's completely artificial or whatever, but like they purposefully focused on that to make it as big of a divide as possible. You know.
Oh, so they exaggerated it. They focused on it. Huh. So is there truth to that fourth turning thing though, or is that just
Everything I read a lot of
manipulating
this.
things? Or-
There's I think it's called the Fourth Turning blog that I
Yeah.
read it quite a bit, and he's been calling it fucking nail on the head every time. So
Really?
yeah,
Wow, that's spooky.
yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
What did I miss?
Spooky and gooky.
I wanted to ask you about the CIA and the artwork too, because I don't know anything about that. So that
Yeah, I
was,
probably
was
should
kinda
have started that earlier because we're 2.5 hours in.
Finally, we're starting. All right.
Well, if you could
Yeah.
give me a cliff notes or
Takes us
something.
a minute to warm up.
Where did Jackson Pollock get his funding from? I wonder.
Well, here, I'll pull up the
Well,
thread.
that's how they launder money, right?
Huh?
I'll pull up the thread because
Funding all this new crappy art.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a side thing, but yeah, that's a huge.
And that's why the value was inflated, you know?
Yeah.
For
People
the
are
artwork?
bidding $1 million. Yeah, they were bidding $1 million for this, you know? And
Yeah.
obviously other people will be like, oh, if that's worth $1 million, then this bullshit that looks just like it is worth $1 million.
Yeah, but they can get a. They can
I
have
never
somebody.
got into art. I don't know much about it, and I really got turned off when they did the whole piss Christ and all that kind of. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want. I never watched it.
Yeah.
My ex-wife is an artist, so I got a
Okay.
I got a view into the kind of the
Oh,
modern
dude, you an
young
art house? Base.
yeah the modern young university scene. There's some just absolute degenerate shit.
Really?
But
Does she have talent?
a little, but she's more of a she got pissed off when I said this shit to her, but she was more of a technician. She was into printmaking, so lithography,
Hey,
woodcut, lino cut, yeah.
hey, has she looked into that whole crypto art thing?
Oh yeah, no, she knows a lot of what's going on. She's not based. She's otherwise we'd still be married, but but she did. They all do art history and they all do this stuff, so they look into the meaning of art and all this crap. But art universities and art colleges don't teach like they teach some technical stuff, but the majority of it is they learn how to write theses and get grants. They learn how to write artist statements. They don't learn how to, you could graduate from art school in a painting program and never be able to paint with shit.
What's an artist thing?
Oh, well, what you do is you take a pile of garbage, you make a pile of it, and then you write, like a 4-page essay about what the meaning of the pile of garbage is.
Hell?
And so when you see this, like, piss Christ and all this type of stuff, the actual art doesn't matter. It's the statement that you write. That's what they're taught. And this is why they come up with, they get people going through art schools without any skill or talent, because, like I said, they learn how to bullshit. The whole thing is about bullshit. I've told many artists.
That's actually what I was going to talk about. Was that that was artificially applied on purpose by the CIA.
Yep.
What's artificial? What is?
The whole. Well, I'm going to get into it.
Okay. I'll mute myself and just listen because I ain't got. Only thing I'm gonna have is questions, so I'll just mute myself and listen. Soak it in.
Yeah, but the questions are good.
Questions are good.
Go on, Walrus.
But this is I'm going off my buddy Macro Artist on Twitter. So if you guys want to follow him, here I'll type it into the YouTube channel and then it'll appear on the screen. He does a lot of cool deep dives on stuff like this.
You put it in the Twitter too.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I put it in the group chat and Twitter too. But anyway, starting with this thread, I should put that on screen too. Let me see. Oops, wrong one. I gotta get the right window here. There we go. So, I'm saying, have you ever wondered why most art sucks and has a political agenda? This thread should help. It starts with the post-war 1947 through 1960. I'm going to try to paraphrase it as much as possible instead of just reading it. But, so, there's the OSS, where the CIA stems from, the Office of Strategic Services, right? And they had their specific propaganda department. OSS wartime propaganda applied domestically by the CIA, early experiments in cultural manipulation and the sabotage of aesthetics and intellectual integrity. Primary reason most of the art presented to the public sucks is because the CIA has been manipulating art and culture since its inception. The CIA was founded in 1947, following the conclusion of World War II. One of the agency's immediate goals was to continue the OSS's objective of controlling the flow of news and information available to the public. Rather than curtail the program at the end of the war, they expanded it into a comprehensive disinformation campaign known as Project Mockingbird. Now, if you remember, I forget which one it was, but it's a common quote from, was it Alan Dulles, I think? The first director of the CIA? Maybe not, but it was one of the directors of the CIA. Said that our goal will be complete when everything the American public believes is a lie. So, this is definitely part of that. CIA's expansion of information control now extended beyond the news and into the cultural realm.
Positive those fuckers have done?
Huh?
That they have done.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that is. Like, have you ever heard of some positive things to come out of the CIA in your lifetime? Like,
No,
oh, they're
never.
heroes. Oh, they did this. Oh, they saved this many lives.
Actually, I have, but that stuff's not made public.
Yeah. But let's not get sidetracked because this is going to be quite a bit to go through. But, so here's the important part. The Museum of Modern Art director John Hay Whitney was a member of was in the OSS during the war. So they kind of instilled him, or I guess he was director of the Museum of Modern Art before that. So there was probably because there's all kinds of crazy shit with the CIA. There was a shit going on before it too, you know, but they officially created an agency for it under the aegis of the United States government. Although there's a lot of shit to it. But yeah, so the director of the Museum of Modern Art was an OSS asset. And they used him to openly manipulate public aesthetic opinion. They had a program called Advancing American Art dedicated to paying the touring expenses of an international exhibition of abstract expressionist painters. But everybody thought it was crap because it totally was. President Truman said, "If that's art, then I'm a Hottentot." And another congressman added, "I am just a dumb American who pays for this type of trash." So that failed, but it didn't stop.
You know, there was a certain amount of pissing contest with the CIA and the modern art between the communists and this kind of fight for the hearts and minds. And some of this was kind of a the communists have the modern art and all this, but we Americans have it too. In fact, we're better at it.
Yep. While the communists actually went more towards classical in their
Yeah.
art and made fun of the American modern art.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now,
Even
is
though-
this the kind of stuff that birthed Picasso? Or
Well, Picasso was before that.
This Picasso
Oh, okay.
was before this. This
And
is more.
Spanish
Who was that? We were just talking about him the other day.
Pollock.
Yeah, Jackson Pollock and stuff. The
Now, what did he
Jackson
do?
Polak.
American
Yeah.
abstract expressionist painters.
I've heard the Pollock's name, but I'm not, like I said, I don't know anything about art.
Uh,
What art
Ja-
did he do?
Jackson Pollock's famous for making splash paint.
Splashing paint on the.
Paintings.
But he picked the
Yeah,
colors.
Oh yeah. They made a movie out of. They made a movie of him with Ed Harris.
Yeah. But Jackson Pollock
there's
is a
no-
prime example.
There's
Another.
no painting of it. He just splashes paint on
Just
it.
splashes
Yeah,
paint on a
just
canvas.
splashes
Yep.
paint, and he was one of the most highly paid.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, big. Yeah.
Picasso's one of them too. He made really shitty art.
Yeah.
Picasso was before this though.
Hmm.
But
he
I would
was
argue
right after World War II, I think. Yeah.
no, he was before
Pica-
World War One.
yeah.
This is right
Um,
after World War II. He was like in the
But-
20s, wasn't
Yeah.
No, he was
in
after
the
World War
30s.
II.
No, but his
Yeah. Okay.
some of his famous paintings are from and about the Spanish Civil War, right?
True.
Like the bombing
Oh,
of
yeah.
Guernica and
he?
whatnot.
Yeah, that's true.
All I know is we got that statue I used to skateboard on. I used to skate on the wings. Boy, that pissed the cops off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I used to be a skater too.
All right, but we're getting away from.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
There's still a lot to cover.
Bro.
So their first attempt, because they had the traveling fucking exhibition of crap that they tried to call art. You know, they tried to like just force it. You know, like force the meme. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When that didn't work, obviously, they got a little more crafty about it, and started doing it more covertly. So the CIA's foray into cultural manipulation began with former OSS officer Frank Wisner.
Weisner.
Right, Wisner. And the Propaganda Assets Inventory. That was a division within the CIA dedicated to the worldwide promotion of selected artists and intellectuals. At its peak, the PAI controlled the messaging of over 800 major news outlets in the country. So, I don't know if he actually goes into this, but I would say about the same time, they were doing lots of work with, was it Freud's grandson, wasn't it? What's his name? Father of propaganda. And advertising.
Oh shit. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. What the fuck's his name? Oh fuck.
He made diamonds like a thing and bacon and all kind of shit.
Hold on. Bernays.
Edward Bernays, yeah. He was coming in, like, so I don't think Macro actually specifically mentions this. But Bernays was working with the CIA. We know that for a fact. And you can start just reading between the lines here. You can see that they're starting to try to use some of those techniques. You know what I mean? Where it's more manipulative instead of, you know. The first was like a left meme. You know what I mean? Wall of text type shit. That didn't work. But so they're like, oh, we got to do it a different way, you know?
Yeah, and you get into it slowly with changing the kind of the popular style of advertisements.
Right. And
No,
like knowing what I know about advertising, like with the diamonds. So what they did, they started putting it in movies and stuff, and you know, and in magazines, and all look at the
themselves
diamonds
everything.
at this fucking at all the
Diamonds are a
the
girl's
movie
best friend.
stars are wearing. And
Yeah.
Yeah, but that.
Paid for all that.
Yeah.
And Chabad made a ton of money.
Yep.
Yeah, even now, a modern, like, a modern, I would think, example would be in the comic book industry,
Well, they were
Like,
basically
they
doing the same.
subverted the whole shit, and now, it's collapsing.
Yeah.
They use those diamonds as money.
But they were
Money.
basically let's go back. Let's not get away from the art here, because
It's all
they were
connected, of course, by the tribe.
Right.
But yeah,
yeah. I was using that as an example, but I'm still trying to stay focused on this for a minute. So but they were basically doing the same thing with the art, modern art. You know what I mean? And they'd have like this was a little later with fucking Soup Can Jackass. What's his name? Warhol. And shit, and they had their whole little like they're the cool fucking blah blah blah. We're the big ritzy artists, and most Americans would like see it like this is crap, but they think they just don't understand it.
yeah. Well, this goes into the whole pushing the art theory shit as opposed to the actual product.
Right.
And once again, that's part of the subversion, and that's part of the whole process.
Yeah, but they had like I said the. PAI, which is a division in the CIA, controlled over 800 major news outlets in the country.
Yep.
Which now there's probably not 800 news outlets in the country, but I'm pretty sure the CIA's got their finger in all of them that do exist. You know what I mean?
Another, I'm going to try to make this quick so I don't distract, but if you look at a lot of these famous abstract artists and new modern artists, you'll notice that they tend to have patrons. The patrons tend to be rich Jewish people.
Yep.
And they're in quotations private patrons, but they're not patronizing these people for no reason.
Well, there's also a lot more to it than just that I'm not even sure if he mentions in there because I haven't been able to fully get through the thread yet.
Can I ask a question?
Well, let me finish my sentence at least.
It was about what he just said. I just wanted to know what he meant by patrons.
Well, Walrus, you finish, and then we'll get back to that in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll probably be covered at some point anyway. But, because they do a lot of money laundering and money transfer that way, too. Because how else can you transport $10 million? You know what I mean? You can't do it in cash, but one painting, oh, this painting's worth $10 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so a lot of money laundering through that, a lot of wealth transfers and shit that you can do it kind of under the table without so much of a paper trail and all that kind of shit.
Yep.
And
So by patrons, you mean people that buy, not just owning it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that run the the people that buy it, but also the people that go to the exhibits and fucking
they put
run
on
the
parties for them.
galleries and all this bullshit.
They fund these people to make their, in quotes, art. I'm just going to keep doing that because I'm doing the actual quotations with my fingers every time I do this, so I keep saying it.
Oh, you mean like give them living expenses?
Yeah, living expenses. They'll
buy their paints and shit and canvases.
They pump them up by buying their work, showing it to their friends, telling everybody in their kind of elite circles to buy this guy's art.
This sounds like a good gig.
Oh yeah, it's lucrative. Plus, there are the marks in there, you know, that are just the regular rich people that aren't in on the fucking thing, and they trick them into paying fucking out the ass for this bullshit too.
But those rich people won't get into it. They won't get into it unless there's another rich person kind of leading it, right?
Right. They have
right.
Exactly. That's like I said. There's like they're the mark because and they make a. So, like, because it is crap. It's just some paint thrown on a fucking canvas or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, anybody pay $30 million if they had it for a Monet or something. But for somebody's piece of crap paint splatter, you got to convince them, right? You got to trick
But if you go to the shaker movers place in your social circle and you go to their mansion and they have a whole bunch of Warhols on the wall,
Right.
and then they go, "Oh, don't you have Warhols
And
too?"
then you're
Like,
you're
I
you're
see.
in New York high society, and the
Okay.
coolest kids in town are the Warhol crowd. And
yeah, like aren't you?
And
they're
you know,
acting
aren't-
all superior than everybody, and like, well, you just don't understand his art, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. You know,
But that
Oh,
once again, that doesn't happen accidentally.
right?
Right.
Like I said,
They're-
those
they're
are the
tr-
Bernays. That's the Bernays fucking playbook.
and that's how they get it pop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then when somebody when they go to auction, and these are auctions, right? Or no?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it
then they-
depends.
Would they
But-
would a Jew bid it up a bit, keep bidding it up, and then the
Oh,
guy's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
get it."
But
Like
think about this
eBay.
too. Think about this too. You were tasked with, rising up some degenerate art. So you go find your degenerate artists. You buy all their garbage that they have for pennies because they're starving artists and they're shit at their job, at their trade. And then you own these guys, and then you make them famous, and you rise up the price of their art that they're producing. You have to buy $1 million painting once in a while, but you've got $50 million worth of garbage that you can pawn off as soon as you make these people famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have
So it's an
So
investment.
this is literally what they do with everything else too. So they're
Yes,
just the
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the CIA
it's-
was deeply involved in it.
Yeah.
They used the media and all this shit. So Weisner's media cartel was widespread. The network included journalists, columnists, book publishers, editors, entire organizations such as Radio Free Europe, stringers across multiple news organizations. They include the New York Times, Newsweek, CBS, all the usual suspects on that bullshit. You know? Programs designed for secrecy during World War II were carried over into the post-war era through a questionable State Department program called the Office of Policy Coordination, run by Frank Wisner. Using Marshall Plan funds, Wisner had all the money he could ever desire, as Francis Stoner Saunders describes. Wisner tapped Marshall Plan funds to pay for his division's early exports. Money his branch referred to as candy. We couldn't spend it all, CIA agent Gilbert Greenway recalls. I remember once meeting with Wisner and the comptroller. My God, I said, how can we spend that? There were no limits and nobody had to account for it. It was amazing. Lovely, right? Sounds nice.
Yeah, and all the taxpayers paid for their own destruction.
This initial form of aesthetic manipulation garnered unwarranted attention and positive press for forms of art that were unpopular to the public. Despite the initial attempts to manipulate public opinion, most everyone was still unmotivated by the avant-garde artworks. Cultural manipulation was ramped up in 1950 when the CIA set up the International Operations Division, IOD, under Agent Tom Braden. Ooh, I remember that name. The IOD funded various forms of avant-garde art, music, film, literature, abstract art. That's when you start getting the beat movement.
Yeah, I was going to mention the beatniks earlier.
Yeah, the beatniks.
Yeah, the beatniks were heavily Jewish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
they were also connected to the CIA because
Yeah,
here's
they,
what they're
they
doing
all
this shit.
Really?
they all found funding, right? Like
Yeah.
these guys.
How do you think they live such a bohemian lifestyle? And,
Right,
Dude,
right.
somebody gave me.
So like Ginsburg was probably connected with the CIA.
Oh, definitely. The
somebody gave me.
whole '60s movement was CIA created. Now,
Yeah,
so when you say the Jews, when you say the communists, and you say the CIA, you're basically saying the same thing.
same thing exactly. Somebody gave me.
And the
one as-
Jesuits, if you want to toss that one in there for
Once
good
again,
measure.
it's the same thing.
The Grand Lodges.
And that too, yes.
Hey guys, I have a question really quick because I'm trying to order food on Postmates and I need someone who knows Spanish.
Yes.
No habla español.
No habla
Okay,
taco,
I
Paco.
need to know Which one of these is closer to shredded beef? Is it carne asada, carnitas, or pollo asado? Which one is the
Pollo
shredded
asado
beef?
is chicken. Carnitas is pork. The asada
Carne
is beef.
asada is
Carne
steak.
asada is your bet.
Is
Yeah, that's
steak.
beef.
If they have
Is it
barbacoa,
shredded
that's
or?
if they have barbacoa, that's the
Barbacoa is
shredded beef
shredded.
you want.
Okay, I'm fucking. I don't know why they can't speak American here. Fucking retards. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Diversity.
I was just
So-
gonna say, somebody gave me William S. Burroughs' The Naked Lunch. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Oh God, I hate that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
book is
Famous-
so
famous-
fucking horrible.
Dude, I tried reading that. Because it was like so critically acclaimed. I'm like, well, I'm gonna at least read it. You can't.
Dude, that
It's
is the
literally-
most
it's-
degenerate piece of shit book ever.
Yeah, dude.
But the writing is almost unintelligible.
Yeah, is that they can't even hardly follow what's going on
Because the guy was
and-
so fucking cracked out. He was
Yeah.
on so much drugs at the time.
yeah,
But what the point of it is that is such a piece of fucking absolute trash.
yeah,
But it was pumped up. It was sold as a subversive, important work, and somebody gave him the fucking money.
right.
Yeah.
And it went through the money went through the CIA,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know who's in charge of it, right? But anyway, getting back to this, so Tom Braden confirmed the IOD acted secretly under his command because of public hostility to funding avant-garde art. They were doing it covertly. In his own words, it was very difficult to get Congress to go along with some of the things we wanted to do. Send art abroad, send symphonies abroad, publish magazines abroad. That's one of the reasons it had to be done covertly. It had to be a secret. In order to encourage openness, we had to be secret. Damn it. All right.
So they were trying to export this type of crap.
Once it became weaponized, I mean, yeah. But
Oh, and here's the communist connection, because it said,
yep.
at an interesting blah, blah, blah. The early CIA was comprised predominantly of Ivy League graduates, largely from Harvard and Yale. Oh, Skull and Bones, that's they all go into the CIA. And then the lesser groups they have at Yale and other ones at Harvard. But the Skull and Bones is in charge of this shit. And that's your connection to the Hebrews and to the fucking Masons and all that
Bushers.
shit.
Well, there's a lot of that at my old alma mater, University of Chicago, too. There's a
Yeah, I bet.
lot of spook activity that came out of there.
Yeah. Many of these
Did anyone
graduates.
Did anyone else hear that fucking loud ass beep that like echoed?
Yeah, that was me. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that sounded like a fucking sonar ping. I was like scared.
Well, it sounded like somebody got a notification to me. But
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
anyway, many of these graduates were relatively open to communist thought.
shit.
By design or by accident, the CIA attracted and employed a disproportionate percentage of communist sympathizers. The CIA, during the
By
Cold War,
accident.
height of the fucking Cold War, employing a disproportionate percentage of communist sympathisers. That's
One
where
of
you
the
get people
McCarthy
like
nuts.
fucking... Right, these are supposed to be the people that are keeping us from... keeping
Right.
us safe from communism.
God, if McCarthy wouldn't have been.
Right. This is where we get fucking people like all the craziness that behind they say he shot JFK and it obviously didn't because it was impossible. What's his name?
Oh, that was Jewish. That was
Oswald?
all through. That was through Maya Lansky.
Yeah, but what's the guy's
Jack
name? Well,
Rubenstein.
because there's no difference between those.
oh, you're talking
Yeah.
what guy's name? Oswald?
Yeah,
You're
Lee
talking
Harvey
Oswald,
Oswald.
Yeah,
Because he had
Yeah.
all the communist connections where he went to Russia, but it was working under the aegis of the CIA, but the CIA denied it. So, ironically, a program theoretically intended to promote American creativity and combat Soviet cultural credibility was immediately co-opted by the very corrosive communist ideology the program was intending to contest. Yeah.
Well, that's a powerful statement.
Former case officer Donald Jameson said, most of the artists we were supporting were people who had very little respect for the government, in particular, and certainly none for the CIA. If you had to use people who considered themselves one way or another to be closer to Moscow than to Washington, well, so much the better, perhaps. He also said the financial support from the government to the artists had to be kept secret. Matters of this sort could only have been done at 2 or 3 removes, so that there wouldn't be any questions of having to clear Jackson Pollock, for example, or do anything that would involve these people in the organization. And it couldn't have been any closer because most of them were people who had very little respect for the government in particular, and certainly none for the CIA. If you had to use people who considered themselves one way or another to be closer to Moscow than what? Okay, so that was the first part of that. So yeah, it's like I was saying, these people, the artists themselves probably didn't even know they were being used that way.
No,
know?
no, of course not.
Because they'd have these Jewish fucking patrons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we love your art. We'll put you up in this studio and fucking buy you all the paint you want, and then bring in other people to buy their paintings and all this shit because they wanted them to have the money to keep doing this bullshit.
Yep.
60s, the music industry was very similar. All kind of shit. That shit like Naked Lunch, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That if you read it, you're like, what is this? This is the most degenerate.
Yeah.
Even the degeneracy aside, the fucking, it's objectively horrible. You know what I mean? Like
I
just
know,
the
I
writing
tried-
style and shit.
I tried watching the movie and I just turned it off. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never read the book.
I watched the movie because of Peter Weller was in it, and I liked him.
Yeah.
And it was such a degenerate, and all the stuff that they kind of, I mean, it's obvious, but they kind of changed the way they do it to kind of cover up the homosexuality of that. But it's all there in the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
It's homosexual promoting, drug using promoting, degeneracy trip.
Yep. That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
The Naked Lunch thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Naked Lunch.
Oh.
It's disgusting garbage.
William S.
Glad I
Burroughs in
didn't
general,
watch
but
it.
that's like his coup de
Was
grace.
Burroughs
there.
the guy that was into horses or something, or did something with horses?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. I
But I mean,
haven't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise
Guys,
me.
there's a Mexican street taco place nearby that has a burrito. Guess what it's called?
the Walter
Burroughs?
the Burroughs.
No, it's called the Lock Her Up burrito.
The locker up.
No.
burrito.
Oh,
way.
hey, shit.
Yeah,
Hey,
it
shit.
is.
Nice.
Yes, it
Based.
is.
That's
Yeah.
I'd get it.
These are-
Clement Greenberg. Yeah, I was
It
catching
doesn't
up on
look
his
that good.
chat.
It really
so I was-
doesn't. It really doesn't look that appetizing.
Looking at
It really
the-
All
doesn't
right
look that
then,
good.
yeah.
You gotta take a picture of the menu.
All right.
Yeah.
But
They have one called the No Collusion
All right!
burrito.
damn it.
Holy shit, dude! No, you better. Pictures or it didn't
They have
happen.
the Stormy burrito, the Under Audit burrito, the Summary burrito. Holy shit,
No
guys!
way.
Picture or it
Oh,
didn't
the
happen.
Urban
I'm
Fakira.
just throwing out this.
Oh my god, guys, this is amazing.
Okay, but enough about burritos. I was in the middle of
Keep
something.
going. Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself.
God
I'm gonna mute
damn it.
myself. Hold on.
He's too excited. He's gotta.
It's kind of
Yeah.
making me excited. That was
Yeah.
But anyway, Murray Cohen was saying that there was this art critic, the guy who was behind a lot of the art criticism, his name is Clement Greenberg. American essayist known mainly as a very influential visual art critic. So avant-garde and kitsch. Oh yeah, this guy's exactly who we're fucking talking about.
Dude, and the art world, even on the kind of the fringes of it.
And he pumped up
art
Jackson Pollock.
the art student area, the pedophilia and the degeneracy is just fucking rampant, dude.
Yeah, well, that goes along with it. You know what I mean? It's all, like I said, they were using psychological techniques when you get So when you're putting this bullshit art out, and and then they start sneaking in the degeneracy in the literature was really big on that. You know what I mean?
We did similar things in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Not with art, but slipping in degenerate things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you can't see the connection between post-war
And we use
United
it on
States,
our own shoulders too. I had a buddy that
Yep.
he did like something like 4 tours in Iraq and 3 in Afghanistan.
It sounds like me, yeah.
Yeah, and but he was like frontline infantry. He was a crazy son of a bitch, let me tell you. But he was something they'd always give you all these little pills, and some of them he knew were like definitely speed. He swore up and down one of them was LSD or something along that lines, And
we were given ephedrine.
Yeah, it was probably ephedrine. But so you'd be going in and like you're marching in the fucking wherever, and all hopped up on drugs, and they're blaring Slayer out of the fucking tanks and shit,
Actually, if I could take 2 seconds, in Afghanistan, we were meeting up with the tribal leader, right? He was a young guy. And he had this was when we were starting to form the Northern Alliance. And he had control over about 12,000 men. So it was important to get this guy on board. And he was pretty chill with the West, He was a young guy. He was kind of hip. So we were like, all right, we're going to set up this meeting, this and that. And we get the meeting set up, and we went in, and we're waiting, and the guy's not there. And we start hearing some noise in the background, and we see a vehicle approaching from miles off. And he finally gets there, and the music's just blaring, and he's in this old Toyota Hilux with like a 50 cal on the back, and he's blasting like Slayer or Metallica or something. And he gets out, he's like, "What's up, guys?" And we're like, "What the hell is this?"
Jesus,
But it was actually kind of funny. You just reminded me of it. There's no real point, but when you mentioned that, we thought, boy, this guy's a real treat. Sorry to derail that, but
you're fine.
That's cool.
Getting back to the thread though, because in the 40s, like nobody was buying this fucking modern art bullshit. You know what I mean? And it was hard to get people behind it and all this shit. But so in 1950, the CIA was reinforced by the Congress for Cultural Freedom, which was a CIA-funded and managed project designed to support writers, historians. There's an interesting one, right? Yeah. Intellectuals, poets, and artists who would be useful in achieving the CIA's manipulative agenda.
So Jews.
Well, they were very disproportionately represented, I can guarantee you that. At its zenith of power, the CCF had offices in 35 nations and controlled over 25 publications. CFF provided an excellent front for the funding and promotion of abstract expressionism to appear more organic. Because they were covertly funded by the CIA. And they sponsored the touring and promotion of expensive multinational abstract expressionist expositions. Further enhancing the illusion of demand and public appreciation, the network of publications controlled by the CFF promoted and praised the abstract art movement uniformly. Right. That's what I was saying, basically. So they created this other foundation that they could fund that foundation secretly. And the foundation would, basically just taking a step from the Rockefellers and shit when they did their foundations, State Department's transparent attempt to manipulate American culture in 1947 failed. 2 primary reasons. No appetite for taxpayers to fund that type of shit. And they couldn't make people like it, basically. Because the publications and intelligentsia were not yet thoroughly co-opted.
Don't even get into architecture.
Oh, I know.
So why didn't they get funding from Rothschild or somebody. That, you know, so much money. Well,
Well, you think they didn't? I mean, it's...
oh, okay.
What do
Yeah.
you, I mean, the money comes from the Federal Reserve. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
right, right.
So,
But also, you got to remember, if you're trying to subvert the nation and you do it by creating, I mean, not that they didn't already control certain aspects of the CIA right off the bat, but the more importance and the more money you run through certain divisions of an organization, you shift the power to those parts of it until that takes over. And so you have to, if you want to control the FBI, you got to run money through it.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Right? Because if there's no budget and there's nothing going on, then you're going to end up with a whole bunch of people who just want to arrest bad guys.
Yeah.
But if you can fund, $1 billion through the FBI into doing whatever, then you get the right guys in control of that money, and then they become more important in the organization. Then the organization becomes your tool.
And
Right.
and once you set a standard for money, that almost never shrinks. You know, your budget's just going to keep increasing.
Yeah, for sure.
We needed
And
$1 billion last year. We need $4 billion this year. Sorry,
you
and then the next
get-
year it's 9.
You get people in who know the score and do what they're told.
Right.
I mean, there are instances where people have taken over organizations and said, "We don't need this fucking money. This is all bullshit." But those people don't last.
Right.
Yeah. But
Yeah, you never hear about cuts. It's always expansion. More.
But they'll talk about cuts, but they're always cutting.
all right, let's not get out in the weeds too much.
Okay, yeah.
so.
Sorry.
So going through this. So basically, I'm going to paraphrase this bit because it's kind of what we were talking about. But this is a very good example and probably one of the earliest examples of how the CIA operates. So they'll create these front organizations that and at the end point, the people probably don't even realize they're being manipulated by the CIA and shit. With this CFF, since it wasn't just paintings and shit too, there were also literature. There's basically the whole beat movement. You know what I mean? And
Sometimes our funding, and I don't know if they would, maybe you would know this from this, sometimes the funding comes from other countries. Like we would use money, American currency, but that
Yeah.
was printed in Russia and China. The Russians made the best.
oh yeah, because we gave Russia printing plates. Fucking
Correct. And,
Yeah.
and we would get our cash from there to use to pay individuals.
because it was too difficult to like keep sending them money all the time, and then you'd have to like account for the money and all this shit.
Right. So I wonder if that kind of stuff had to have been.
And this was
like
about the
this.
same time, right? Wasn't that late 40s,
Yeah.
early 50s? And they were like,
Yeah.
we'll just send them printing plates. They can print their
Yeah.
own.
Frightening stuff.
Mm-hmm. Crazy shit. But yeah, it just perfectly illustrates what they were doing, manipulating the culture, and then they have the whole Mockingbird media to make it seem
Journals.
legitimate and create this whole bullshit fucking. Oh,
But
this
this-
is what's cool. This is what da 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 da.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure they worked in tandem with Hollywood stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, but this had all been done previously, and probably before this too. But it had all been done on large scale in a major effort in Germany even before World War One. But they did this by getting the art critics and getting the publications and getting the galleries and pushing out the degenerate art. And there's
Yeah.
famous National Socialist
And not just art related shit. Hollywood studios, so they'd have the paintings and the backgrounds on the sets and
to
shit.
normalize
Yeah.
it.
And
you
TV,
mentioned books too.
and
The
books.
You mentioned, yeah.
Because they were, there's, like I said, the whole poetry and shit, the whole beat fucking culture there.
Once again, have you guys ever read Kafka?
No,
Is that-
a
come
little
on,
bit.
American-
Let's stop getting too distracted.
Oh, sorry.
Try to
Well, this
focus.
kind of goes. This is the same thing. Is that this has been done before in other places by the same people.
Well, yeah, I would totally agree with that. It was happening in America before that.
Yeah.
I would almost. Well, it's actually the thread is about to get there. The
Sorry.
way he says it is one way, and then I'm gonna put a different spin on it once I get there. But
Yeah, that post number 31 I've read a couple times. That was pretty interesting.
yeah, from a cultural manipulation perspective, the CIA art tour was a success. It was entirely funded by the public, but designed to appear to be funded by private interests. Likewise, all the positive press appeared to be organic, but was actually a manufactured echo chamber. Here's where it gets real
Which is
interesting.
what they do today, and they do this. That's what social media does. That's what. It's incredible.
Right.
They never change their game plan.
But it gets about to get a little crazier, and then you'll
Oh,
really
boy.
start to see the connections. So abstract
They mute and dig in.
expressionism was expensive to transport and display, so additional funding and support was provided by Nelson Rockefeller, as well as a few other extremely wealthy people. So probably the DuPonts, the fucking Carnegies, those types of people, right? In addition, the CIA and its wealthy conspirators set up additional shady funding mechanisms. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit from this because, like I said, this was already happening in America through the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the Warburgs and all them. And they had already set up their foundations and stuff. So it was basically the same playbook. But now they were doing it on the public funds. They didn't even have to use their own funds anymore because now they were on the taxpayer dime because they managed to sneak it in there during the war with the OSS. And instead of, oh, the war's over, we're going to shut this down, they're like, oh, the war's over, we're going to crank this up and use it at home. So, good example of the opaque funding provided to abstract expressionism is illustrated by the celebrated multinational exhibition, The New American Painting from 1958 through 59, featuring works by Pollock, de Kooning, Motherwell, and others. When the show ran out of money and was unable to financially transport from Paris to the Tate Gallery in London, and if you think that MI6 wasn't, MI5 and 6 wasn't deeply involved with this, and therefore the Tavistock Institute and their people, you know, they obviously were very deeply involved in this. Plus, London was having a craziness going on there too at the time. A wealthy man named Julius Fleischmann connected to Fleischmann, right?
Yeah.
Funny how all these names pop up, right? Connected to the Museum of Modern Art, stepped in to supposedly pay the bill. All philanthropic sounding, but upon further inspection, it wasn't Fleischmann himself who paid the bill, but it was paid by the Fairfield Foundation, which Fleischmann was the president of. It turns out the Fairfield Foundation was actually a CIA slush fund. So unknown to the public and perhaps the artists and galleries as well, the exhibition was promoted and transported at taxpayers' expense through fraudulent foundations acting as slush funds. Former CIA agent Tom Braden described how such conduits as the Fairfield Foundation were set up. We would go to somebody in New York who was a well-known rich person and we would say, we want to set up a foundation. We would tell him what we were trying to do and pledge him to secrecy, and he would say, of course I'll do it. And then you would publish a letterhead, and his name would be on it, and there would be a foundation. Really pretty simple device.
And all these donations would just pour in.
Right? And he actually said, you know, this is from over a year ago, but I was talking to him about it today when I said I wanted to Because we were talking about Pollock last night, and so I got to talking to him today, and he shot me this thread, and he said he would go more into the 60s and stuff if people were interested. He stopped because he wasn't getting much attention on it. So I would recommend everybody who's interested in this to I'll drop the link in the chats here. I would recommend everybody get to go and like and comment and all that good stuff.
See those pictures, Walrus?
Not yet. Hold on.
Shit, I need a good fucking. Oh, do we have one? Yes, I do.
Yeah, let me see.
But yeah, it's funny. I had heard some of this stuff, and I knew of some of these connections, and then by being married to an artist for quite a while, I started learning about all these foundations and all these galleries, these famous galleries, and then when I started kind of delving into this again the second time. I started recognizing them all and going like, shit, there's fucking people lining up to get drippings from these places. And they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea that they're being fucking used.
What are you guys seeing? These burrito names, the under audit burrito, the summary burrito, no collusion burrito, the stormy burrito.
Fuck.
Choose a protein: omelet, carne asada, chicken tinga, carnita, shrimp, fish, Pelosi, snowflake, impeachment, libertarian, whistleblower.
That's amazing, dude.
Oh, that's funny shit.
Hey, I would have ordered from there if they had fucking elaborated on what those other things were.
Yeah,
Like,
what are those
give me a
things?
fucking description. Like a description would
Yes.
be nice.
What is the libertarian?
Are you actually gonna serve me Nancy Pelosi?
They just have her tied up naked. They're just slicing parts of her body off as she's still alive, just muffled screaming.
Ugh.
As they just take a sharp knife and start carving bits of her flesh off of her body.
Oh, wait, who?
Ooh,
Sounds
a
gross.
little graphic.
Just fucking with you.
I mean,
Would we really
at
care,
least,
though?
at least
I
you're
mean-
not talking about nuking every country in the world.
I was a little
Are you
too
a
drunk to
trucker guy?
elaborate on that. I was a little too drunk to elaborate on that. But
Hitchhikers, watch out, you know.
I just got attacked by a train.
nice.
What?
Yeah,
By a tranny?
calling me anti-Christian. Can
Calling
you
you
believe the stones on
anti-Christian.
these people? Yeah, can you believe the stones on these people? Hey, I didn't mean to derail. I'm just a little shocked. I can't believe a tranny would have the balls to try to represent Jesus.
You're
Holy
anti-Christian.
smokes. Woo!
Well, I don't think they actually try to represent.
You talk about a CIA op. Hey,
Yeah.
it says on the third commandment, you should chop off your genitalia. What a cesspool. No wonder I get showed all the time. I attract the best.
Yep.
Between me and my man 45th, man, that poor guy, he never keeps count for more than a week. They find a target and they just keep you. They're always on the lookout for it.
That's why you gotta go protected.
Yeah.
Forgot to put that. In the
I just
Twitter-
wing it.
YouTube.
I just-
All right,
I
now
just-
we got really quiet. Everybody wanted to talk when I was talking about something, and now that I'm done.
Oh, we thought
I
you
was
were
being polite. I'm a gentleman.
I was just excited about the fucking menu I found.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
already
it was
talked
pretty
about
cool.
the shit I wanted to talk about.
Well, Raid was saying something.
Oh, just the last bit there. I was just saying I'd heard all these names of these foundations and museums and all this stuff. Well, I'd heard some of this stuff from before in loose connection with CIA stuff because I was kind of interested in that kind of. Because back when I was younger, it was all just conspiracy theory shit, and the kind of the ability to get the actual information was hard, so you could only get it through those kind of sources, the pamphleteers type people.
Yeah.
And then when I met my ex, I got the first-hand introduction to the art world, the art student world, and the art professor world. What a bunch of degenerates, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm sure some physics professors go out drinking with their students once in a while, but these people were like dating their students and fucking them and drinking, partying, and doing drugs with them, and it was just this fucking like, yeah, it was just some disgusting shit, and the homosexuals everywhere, and it's just like it's like out of a fucking if someone who's making a an anti-art school fucking movie, to show how degenerate it was. This is what it would look like. Reality, it's fucking, it's fucked, dude. On a funny side note, I gotta word this a certain way because I mean I've doxed myself so much anyways, but my ex was working in an art department, and the head of the art department had a crush on me, so he kept giving her money to treat me, take me out, and would give her a bonus check and say, oh, make sure you take your husband out for a nice dinner and stuff. And I would laugh about it because I'm sitting there going like, I'm sorry, honey, but I'm the pretty one in the group, right? Like, it's not my fault I'm handsome, but she would get really mad because, shouldn't it be for my work? And I'm like, you're in the fucking art department, dude. It's not about how much work you do. Right? It's not who you know, or it's who you blow.
Yeah,
Right.
I could splatter fucking diarrhea all over a canvas, which I might do later.
Yeah, no, dude, there was okay.
And make $2 million.
I was okay. No, listen to this. You just said that, and this is not even a fucking joke. I was living in Montreal as a teenager, and I saw advertisements for an art show where a guy gave himself paint enemas and would shit paint on a canvas.
Yeah,
and not
dude.
Fucking like it's not a joke.
Whoa.
You see that piece where the chick like puts a bunch of SpaghettiOs in her pussy and then shits them out in front of a
What?
bunch of people?
Fucking Marv shit.
Like,
Are you guys you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I don't know if I'll be able to
kidding.
find the video again, but holy shit.
I wouldn't watch it
You
anyway.
gotta be kidding.
Well, you can't really
I've
see
seen
what's going
enough.
on, but you can tell like
Yeah, but I've seen
Sorry,
enough
go
of
ahead.
that crap in the early days of the internet.
But whatever,
Yeah.
whatever degenerate shit you can come up with as a joke, like, oh, they wouldn't do this, but they do it, dude. They fucking do
Rule
it.
35.
So
Did you ever hear about? Did you ever hear about that chick who went into like London and Paris, and she would have like either a box over her chest or a box around her crotch, and she'd take her panties off, and like it would have like a hole in the box, and she would let people pay like $20 for like 30 seconds of grabbing her tits or like finger fucking her, and like it's like she did this. This was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they normalize this shit, and with the by owning the establishment and the critics, the critical establishment. They create the bullshit that it's art. But like I said, they've all had this training, this critical theory training, this Marxist training on how to explain this as art to make it sound, intellectual and powerful and moving, and it's become normalized.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Disgusting.
This is a strange take, and I just want to get your opinion on this, guys. Do you think that we should allow for some level of degeneracy as a means of making it less appealing for people from, say, the Middle East and North Africa to come here? They'll see this shit and be I don't want to come to a country with this.
It's like killing yourself to own the libs. No,
I said a limited amount, very limited amount.
We just have to keep them out. I think, and this might be a controversial subject, but I think we should have a certain amount of controlled degeneracy just to keep the degenerates who can't. There's going to be a certain amount. There's going to be shit like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's going to be this, but you've got to keep that out of the mainstream, and it's got to be weird and it's got to be disgusting. Even the National Socialists in Germany in the 1930s, yeah, they jailed a lot of people, but they didn't jail everybody, and they just said, listen, this is we can't just kill everybody. But
I understand, but I think where we need to start is, they need to develop some sort of ideology that pushes back. At least
absolutely.
Like, we need to push back and quick, because the way it's going,
It's just the only problem with that is how do you do this without violating freedom of speech? That's the only hurdle.
Well,
I'd say.
I mean, to be fair, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. But at the same time, like, ours is violated constantly, so I'm not saying anything. But
I know,
you know what I mean?
Because here's the thing: like, if we start violating people's constitutional rights on a large scale like that, what's going to stop them in retaliation from? Even though the Second Amendment is constantly being violated, the fact that they take guns away from felons, that in and of itself is technically an infringement upon the Second Amendment, because it doesn't say anywhere about felons not being allowed to own guns. Where I'm getting with this is who's to say that in retaliation that because the Democrats or the liberals seem to control more of the government than, as we know, they seem to have a lot more control than we would like them to. In retaliation, saying, all right, you're not going to let us do this shit. Well, we're not going to let you do the shit that you guys like. And it just creates this constant back and forth. So I think I do agree that there needs to be some controlled degeneracy,
once again, National Socialism.
yeah.
But a lot of that stuff can be done without passing federal laws, and a lot of it's done by community activism. And once again, you've got to create that community. You got to get people on your page, and you got to remember the.
Well, I'll say this: they had.
Can I just finish this one little thing? The often publicized book burnings in Germany in the 1930s weren't a government organization. This was
it's all transgender books, yeah.
No, but this is what the communities did. The government said, "Hey, this is degenerate
I'll be right back. I
shit.
go pick up my food. I'll take you guys with me. Fuck it. I'll take you with me.
This is degenerate shit that you guys shouldn't be reading." And then the people said, "Yeah, this is garbage. We're going to burn these books."
Yeah.
They didn't pass a law outlawing these fucking books.
Yeah, we just need something to push back, because like I have a kid and the way it's going, I don't know. It's not...
Yeah, I got
As
two.
you
I know
guys
exactly
know,
what you're talking about.
I am a self-described pervert. So I mean, how far are we talking?
Well, we'll give you the nice gulag. We'll give you the nice bunk in the gulag.
Okay. But I'll get the what's the guy who who's the guy who fucked over all those rich people and then now he's in jail? Bernie Madoff.
Bernie
Madoff with the cash.
Where I get where I can still wear like a Rolex and get like a nice TV and fancy dinners and everything.
No, absolutely.
Okay, cool. It's just like I like to be able to go on the internet and look at naked ladies sometimes. It's nice.
We'll make you the barracks chief.
The other side of this too, and Jacob, I know what you're because he mentioned before too, is this stuff was written about in protocols.
Yep.
And the whole concept of freedom of speech and freedom of religion, this was, according to the protocols, their Jew ideas so that they could do this stuff. And
Well,
that they mention that kind of their weakness is like a monarchistic type of dynasty that where they can't infiltrate, where they don't have those means to end. And people say, well, we need something to push back. I mean, I can't think of anything stronger to push back than Christ.
yes,
You know,
yes.
bringing back the United States as it was intended as a Christian country. Then
Yeah, but I think
you
you're
can
gonna need
push it
something a
back.
little bit stronger. Yeah.
What's stronger than
Like-
Christ? There's nothing.
No, yeah, I'm not talking about Christ itself. I'm talking about like how all the churches here. I mean, dude, I go to a church
Well, they've been
every
corrupted,
Sunday,
yeah.
and it's like they're not talking about Christ that often. You know, they're always talking about
Yeah.
what's going on. And we must open our hearts, and this is like,
But
Open
it
our
didn't-
asses and
in
open
the
our
background,
wallets.
churches are being burned all over. You know?
Yep,
It's
yep,
like,
yep.
bro.
well, this is because of the other
Think it-
subversion, though. If we, that's what I'm saying. If we cut that subversion out, and then we can get the churches back to actual doctrinal teachings instead of, some of the crazy stuff. You would say, the gay church. That stuff's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's literally like a slap in the face to the faith. It's a
Yeah.
slap in the face.
Everything we do and anything we build has to be based on the Christian foundation
Absolutely.
of civilization. The rest of it is all going to be a balance of how you implement things and how much you push on people. But the fact is, we need leadership, and we need a focusing of our society. And once again, that doesn't mean that we can't have any fun, or we can't have any rock and roll, or we can't have a beer once in a while.
No,
But
yeah.
it means that we have to recreate our society and refocus the masses of people into one direction that's productive as opposed to destructive. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we can use the awesome power of the government for good, I mean,
yeah.
I would
Well,
say that's the
just
biggest problem
like
I have
they-
with these.
it's
Just like
it's
they-
just steering the masses. You
Just-
do
right, just
legislation
like they
to steer.
focus-
Yeah, I would say that's the
Just
biggest
like they
problem I have with these
focus-
magatards these days, is they're like just letting everybody in. We got gays and we got trannies and blah,
Oh, yeah, did you
blah,
see
blah,
that? There was a
blah.
thing
And it's
today
Like, what the
that
fuck are
they
you
pasted-
conserving? Call
They
yourself
pasted
conservative.
a picture
but-
of like the Charlie Kirk Student Union, whatever, and it was like an Indian guy holding a poster, and the AK was like rainbow colored. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
And of course, like Zyoclops fucking Crenshaw there was
Oh
fucking.
my god, that fucking guy.
Dude,
The,
like they're parading around. Oh, America
the other
first, da
side-
da da, while he was getting the grift, and then as soon as fucking, oh, Trump should fucking concede and blah blah blah. It's like, wow, that will happen really.
The other side of this is you just spent an hour describing how the CIA used money, did all this stuff to promote degeneracy, and we can use those same damn tools to promote good things too.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
We
Exactly.
can use the
I'd
same
argue that-
propaganda.
I'd
Or-
argue that though we can't use the government because, as we know, when the government gets started with something, their original intention is
Right.
usually
It can
completely
get
different,
hijacked.
and not, as it is. Yeah. So
But I would go
We
so
can't
far
let
as to say
something
if
as
we
powerful as the
stopped-
government do it.
But I would go so
That's
far as
the
to
damn
say.
you're
amount of
right.
But I would say if we stopped.
You okay, dude?
Yeah. No. God damn! I hate being a fat ass.
Because
No more burritos.
I'm
Sorry.
trying to say something.
I really don't look as fat as I keep telling everybody I am. I really don't know why. Don't be my-
All right. What I was saying was, because we did just fine for fucking thousands of years until they started doing this shit. You know what I mean? We didn't have a problem. If we just stopped funding it, you know what I mean, funding our own demise, clean
Well-
this shit out. the problem will probably end up fixing itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, we've got to help that move along in any way that we can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and I mean it can be something as retarded as simple as if you go around your community and you see somebody doing little landscape paintings, buy one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, don't go to the. I mean, I know none of you guys do, but also discourage people you know from going to the degenerate art and the theater and all this shit.
Absolutely.
You say, why would you go to that? That's disgusting.
Right.
Using money as an incentive is exactly how we should do it. That way, you don't give the government the power to do it. You allow the community to help, but you're using the most powerful tool of all, money.
Right, see, the reason that won't work, I'm going to tell you why that won't work, is because they create all the money.
It's not about the money per se, but it's about shaming your neighbors and your friends and your relatives whenever they put up something degenerate and talk about degenerate garbage.
Yeah, but that's...
You gotta be careful too, because you'll ostracize yourself, but...
Right, but what you guys are talking about, they're basically trying to piss out a forest fire.
No.
You know what I mean? We gotta remove the fuel first. You know?
No, but it's all part of it. It's all things that
otherwise we're going up against...
No, I know, but I mean, it's the same thing as promoting decent art. When you see a fellow online who's doing decent patriotic and wholesome art, is to support them and help them keep doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean we all do that. That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you have Fren built hats or Frenworth hats, but
yeah,
Trucker Friend's a great example. He sells his own little art. Well, not really. I guess you call it art. It's kind of interpretations of logos and stuff to suit his needs.
But I mean, the thing is that the structure has to be torn down.
Yeah.
We can't do that individually.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is that like, yeah, we do what we can, but look how much effect we have. You know what I mean? We're not fucking. We actually have more effect.
At how these little things start snowballing.
Yeah, and we do have quite a more effect than they would like us to think we do. That's for sure.
But you can't do it individually.
Yeah, if we weren't doing good, they wouldn't need the propaganda.
Sorry, I lost you guys. For a minute.
I know I can do it individually because Walter Cronkite hooked me up with nukes. So I can do it anytime I want.
Yeah.
You're welcome. The right of the people
to
keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
And that meant, and that's a big key about that too, is the context it was written in, because we had parity back then.
Yeah.
Like the government had muskets, we had muskets. The government had the difference would have been naval ships. But now.
But even then.
But there wasn't anything the law against you having a naval ship if you decided you wanted to build one or whatever.
If you had the means, you could privately build it. You could privately build an Ironside.
Yes.
And there were like the merchant marines that was basically like a private navy and shit like that,
Right. So
actually, during the Revolutionary War, there were ships commissioned by the U.S. military during the Revolutionary War that were not owned. Yes. They were funded by private businesses, and those private owners owned them, not the military.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh yeah, but I mean, even in Canada, we have a famous folk song called Barrett's Privateers about the Canadian version of that, right? Where they were given a mark by the King of England to go fight you Americans.
Yeah.
And if you had a private ship, you could slap on some guns, and there you go, right? It was a different time.
Yeah.
We should have kept that going, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, so technically, according to the Constitution, we should be able to have, drones Predator drones and an Abrams tank. If you can afford it, you should be able to...
Once again,
and the key is that 99% of people couldn't afford it. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
So
well, not individually, but when you're putting together
Exactly.
when you're putting together your militias and stuff. But of course, now they've painted every militia as a white supremacist militia and blah blah
Which is
blah
ridiculous
blah.
because it's
a
actually a
hate
requirement
group
in the Constitution to maintain a militia. It's a
Yes.
requirement.
Yeah.
Exactly, but they have demonized because that's what they fear the most.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's why they infiltrated us and subverted all of our shit, because we were the example of how you can do it without them, you know?
And
Yeah.
one of the things that my grandfather's old friend famously said, the difference between Germany and the U.S. is that we're armed, and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
haven't had to deal with that before.
The problem is they have made it effectively impossible for us to actually organize in even these constitutionally
Right.
protected militias and stuff. Because if we do
Yeah.
that, there's going to be some glowfag that's going to come in
Yeah.
and fucking,
Yeah.
oh, blah, blah. Oh, look, we got caught making a bomb that we were going to blow up fucking Schmeckelberg
Yeah.
over here.
But you
That's
could
why you have to have an
probably-
initiation process that they're not willing to partake in. Like you have to remove your right testicle.
Yeah,
not
well, I'm
that
not willing to
drastic,
do
you know
that
what I mean?
either.
No,
or
I know
maybe
it's
just
not that drastic. Like something like you have to hurt
a little
yourself in a way.
sure.
Oh, they would find people
You
who
have
would do that. They'll find people who
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. They'll
I
find people
know-
who will want to do
They'd
that.
find people who are
I
into that.
know. I know in
Mm.
the AB.
Plus, I don't want to do
you gotta
that,
put
so.
somebody-
Yeah, exactly.
I was joking about the
Hello?
testicle thing, but I meant like a self-harm kind of a thing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah,
want to do that
yeah.
either.
Yeah,
What
I
did the
know.
lefties? All the lefties do is self-harm, for fuck's sakes.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah.
That would
In
not
the,
be
how
about-
productive.
How about
Well-
have if you
Oh.
want an initiation, you have something like you don't do drugs, you live by the Bible, and you lift all the time. You're gonna have fewer fucking subversion with that. Eat healthy and live healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, they can get somebody to get into it. But I mean, going back to the art thing, you could do more in particularly in the United States with something that sounds stupid and folksy, but an art movement with handmade quilts by patriotic grandmothers, and push that. You can do more to unite the people and rouse them with a little bit of American folk art than you could with anything else. And you'd be surprised at how much of how many people you could kind of edge along with things like this if you had a way to promote it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the all-American quilt traveling around the trunk quilt,
Yeah.
going from community to community, having another little patch sewn in, just like great-grandma did, and just like great-great-grandma
Yep.
did. The true representation of America, that we won't have our democracy stolen because we got the America quilt.
Yep.
You'd be surprised how powerful that shit is, man. And I'm not like saying that flippantly. It's important. But you gotta have a way to promote it and not let it get taken over by shows, not have any fucking Stars of David sewn into it.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna have to. It's getting late here.
It's getting
So,
late here. It must be getting late there. Jesus. Was
Yeah.
it 5 in the morning?
After,
Oh,
yeah. So, it's been a good show, though, guys.
Yeah.
Dude. An
Better
awesome
than last
show.
night.
I wonder why. It's because I was on later, that's why, not because of Johnny.
Well,
Hmm.
it all boils down to we just need to nuke every country in the world,
There you go.
Yep.
and all our problems will be solved.
Hey, Walrus, you were talking about some of this nerdy
Nuke the ghetto.
nerdy role-playing shit. Do you remember a game called Gamma World?
Oh, sounds familiar.
It was Dungeons and
Guys,
Dragons.
I'm stepping out.
Oh, all right.
All right, later, man.
Later, gentlemen.
Good night, man.
Later.
Thanks for coming out. It was Dungeons and Dragons, and I guess the equivalent would be Fallout, the video game Fallout.
Oh yeah.
It's like
So it was like Shadowrun. I used to play Shadowrun
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
I think it was quite before that though. But yeah, I know Shadowrun, but it was
I mean, I played Shadowrun in junior high, I think. So
yeah. you had to go around a post-nuclear apocalypse world fighting, other scavengers and mutants and shit, and you always had to measure the radiation levels. It was an interesting game, anyways. But talked about nuking the world.
Yeah. Well, that was basically the gist behind
Shadowrun
too. Yeah.
Well, I had all the what do you call it? That had all kind of the fantasy creatures and shit in it too, though, if I remember. And the kind of
yeah, it had to, but it started because of the
enhancements.
post-apocalyptic
Okay, yeah.
thing, and then and there was like pockets of radiation and toxic waste and shit everywhere. So then you had like toxic shamans and shit.
Yeah.
But the races also appeared somehow, like right after the apocalypse.
I can't remember the lore of the game, but yeah, I remember there's like the orcs and the elves and the magicians and shit.
Yeah, so I had that, but it also had the post-apocalyptic shit. So then you also had all the
Gamma World was more of like a 1970s Logan's Run type.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was kind of a precursor to it.
Yeah, and I think it was
kind of meshed it with Dungeons and Dragons to make Shadowrun kind of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny playing like the original one because it was supposed to be in the future, but we have technology now that makes some of the technology then like retarded. Like, like you had to actually like plug in your thing to like so they had to like add
wireless shit.
Yeah, so they had to like add new rules. We're like, okay, now we got Wi-Fi
And in 2132 we finally discovered Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they couldn't even conceive of like Wi-Fi at the time, which is kind of funny.
But I mean, like, look what came out in the original Star Trek. And actually, look what came out in the fucking later Star Trek shit. What they thought was, the teleporters and warp drives and laser guns and this and that, but they still had these, these computer interfaces and all this type of shit that's just so fucking ridiculous nowadays.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. We're supposed to have flying cars in the 80s, and that never fucking happened. Oh wait, no.
This is a shit idea. You want everyone to have a fucking airplane license now?
Oh fuck! I don't want people to have driver's license for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. That's my fucking point.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hop out.
Yeah,
as well.
I can head out too.
Yep, it's about that time.
Take it easy, gentlemen.
All right,
see you later, man.
Adios.
Good night, guys. It was a great show.
All right.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks again for having me, brother.
Thank you all for showing up. I'm gonna go ahead and play the song now. So.
All right. Night, boys. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Adios, amigos.
Well, I wake up early in the morning, you see. Lord knows it feels like somebody can't call me. Yes, it does. Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, oh Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump my leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, oh Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. No, not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, oh Lord. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to